Chapter 6096. The latest website. His embarrassment at this time is quite similar to Shan Jun. All have guilt, but helpless. Lord Weiss said so this time. The great realm king couldn't bear it. But he couldn't help. In the words of the star spirit, that is the imperial edict, the king of the northern realm slowly lowered his head, and his voice was vicissitudes. I will resist. After that he was ready to leave. Even if you don't have any combat power, you have to supervise the battle. Otherwise, others would think he was afraid. By the way, I heard from the realm king god that Jian Wushuang got the pair of earrings he left in your northern time and space. Maybe this is your hope for a comeback in the northern time and space. You must grasp it. The great realm king thought of the world. The king god reminded, and told the king of the northern realm at this time. The treasure he knew. But the chances of winning with that treasure are slim. Huiqing couldn't deduce the star god. But the great realm king could deduce it. It's a bit blurry, but it can still be seen. The real threat is death. Far from being Broly as it is now. If even one Broly can't solve it, there's no hope at all. I will. The king of the northern realm didn't look back. Just nodded his head in agreement. And left the place in a flash. After entering his own northern time and space, he went straight downstream. From a long distance, I saw an elliptical sphere that began to shatter. It was a powerful air wave that erupted from the fight. The entire northern time and space of the earthquake trembled. Many powerhouses in the middle reaches of time and space have come to the intersection with the lower reaches at this time. Looking at the terrifying aura. Although I don't know who is fighting, I can feel that this battle is likely to destroy the entire downstream spacetime. Even the powerhouses of the upstream time and space can feel it. Something big happened in the northern time and space. Those practitioners who were able to contact the Realm King were all inquiring about the downstream time and space at this time. It's just that the Realm King didn't have time to deal with them. Swish. Over the Qishan Temple, the phantom of the Realm King descended. Lord Jiawang. Huiqing was the first to step forward. He and Jiawang also knew each other for a long time. At the beginning, he also helped Jiawang drive out Shilu. Later, because Beirut also dealt with. Seeing the King of Realms coming, he and Wuxia were expecting the other party to help them. The rest of the people didn't understand. Who was the blue-skinned fat man who suddenly appeared? It was Wuxia who took the Realm King to introduce it, so that everyone could understand. At the same time, they all leaked the same eyes as Wuxia Huiqing, looking forward to the king to help. Looking at these people, the Realm King took a deep breath, not knowing what to say for a while. Before he left, the great Realm King reminded Jian Wushuang that Jian Wushuang had obtained a pair of earrings from the Realm King God, and he would have no face to face these people. This embarrassing moment. Death is the first time he has appeared. Old friend, long time no see. The phantom of the annihilation appeared beside the Qishan Temple, but looked at the king with disdain in his eyes. For him, the Realm King of the northern time and space is not as powerful as the air. There's really nothing to worry about. Came here to see his plans come to fruition. Jiawang also took the opportunity to turn around and not face the crowd in Qi Temple, and pointed in Jian Wushuang's direction and said, Nieshing, you chose the wrong opponent. Oh. Nieshing thought it was a bit ridiculous. He put on a look of listening intently, and said, Why did you say this? He wanted to hear what the King of Realms wanted to say, or beat him with his mouth. The Realm King glanced at Jian Wushuang, and said firmly, You chose the wrong opponent, and even the wrong person. Puchi. Nieshing covered his mouth and almost laughed. If it wasn't for the tense expression on his face, he couldn't help it. Heh. The king's expression gradually cooled down, and he asked, I know you are from the future, and I know that you have traveled through time and space, been to the Wanlu Shenmu, and I know that you have failed many times, but this time it was just you countless times. It's just the epitome of failure. If I guess correctly, the way back for you this time is to go to the upstream time and space, because you know from Jiangshang that the Wanlu Shenmu is in the upstream time and space, but now the Wanlu Shenmu has been destroyed. Lord Weiss took it away, so you can only travel through time and space to the previous upstream time and space. Nieshing looked down on the Realm King at first, but the more he listened, the more he felt that something was wrong, and his brows were already huddled together. What do you want to say? If you fail this time, there will be no way back, because Lord Weiss has blocked your way back. And this time you will definitely fail, and you will also be removed from the starry sky. The king's words were generous, powerful. The people in Chishan Temple stood behind him. Although they didn't understand a little, they listened and felt that this time there was hope. The realm kings must come with a way to save them. Miesheng frowned, and being discovered his secret was a very bad feeling, which was beyond his calculations. There is no way. The number of shuttles is too much. This is a sequelae. It's normal to be discovered early. He has been found before. Only those who found him fell. But this time it was Protoss Weiss. He was a little scared. The back road is blocked, which means that the of death in the starry sky today has been removed from his name. Even if he devoured Jian Wushuang, he would still have to travel back in time to the past to reunite with his own deity. But the route through time was blocked by Wes again. You scare me. Miesheng couldn't believe it. If this is the case, then this time is really over. At present, he thought that Jian Wushuang would be the of life in the future, thinking that if you swallow Jian Wushuang, you will be able to create reincarnation. At this time, it was the real king's turn to show disdain. He also wanted to use words to attack the other party, either to make the other party take the initiative to retreat, or to make the other party crazy, which was a double-edged sword. But now he has only one way left. Destruction will not accept failure, or do not want to accept that they will fall. If the swallowing fails, he still has a way back, but now the way back is gone. Then he couldn't fail. I can only bite the bullet and devour Jian Wushuang, whatever you think. I can also tell you that the god of life in northern time and space has appeared. And it appeared in Wanlu Shinmu. And it is currently in the world. God continent. The king said very proudly. This is also the reason why he sent Pill Treasure to the world god continent early in the morning, so as not to destroy life and go mad. Impossible. The aura of death was a little disordered, and he shook his head and said, Weiss is a proto-spirit. How can you care about your life and death? And it is even more impossible to live with me. Of course, Lord Xingling is in charge of all kinds of opportunities. How can you see a subordinate time and space? I am afraid that we are all extinct, and Lord Xingling will not frown. The realm king first nodded in agreement, then his face sank. He stretched out his finger to Jian Wushuang, and said loudly, But you would never have imagined that he, a cultivator, caught the attention of Lord Weiss, and even took Jian Wushuang as a disciple. Yes. Now let me tell you one more thing. Lord Weiss has another disciple, the reincarnated Jiang Shang. Chapter 6097. The latest website. Chapter 6097. The annihilation of the hit. To say that he is a disciple is actually a bit of a stretch. There isn't much of a teacher-disciple relationship. Some are just kindness. Help Jian Wushuang to eradicate the destruction in Wanlu Shinmu. I don't care about things here. The deity in the starry sky has indeed fallen. This is not the promise of Weiss, but the devastation violated the supreme rule. Needs to be cleared. I can't. Destiny is incompetent and furious. He shook his hand and disappeared in front of everyone. It broke out completely after returning to the Temple of Destruction. Incarnate as the true of death, the majestic black mist shrouded, and countless skeletons fell from the body. Damn. Destroying the world roared, and his heart was full of unwillingness. The words of the realm king really played a role. Knowing that he has found the wrong opponent now, Jian Wushuang is not the of life at all. It's no use winning. He has nothing to do now. All plans turned into bubbles. Really moved the heart to retreat. But where can he retreat now? Can't pass time. He can't go to the stars like this. If you go, you will die, and your strength will not return to its peak. Staying in the subsidiary time and space is not reconciled. He doesn't care about it here. Came here to be strong. Don't talk about getting stronger now. The road is blocked by people. Just when he went mad, a long and narrow figure appeared in the Temple of Destruction. Is this about to give up? The disdainful voice entered Misheng's ears, and it was harsh. Miesheng recovered a look, and looked down at the figure in the hall, not knowing who the other party was. It is definitely not easy to be able to enter his world-destroying temple unknowingly. Who are you? The current death is like a bird frightened, and the fright just now was too great. Seeing the other party's expression, the figure was a little disdainful, and slowly walked out of the shadows, revealing his true face. Zamas, the celebrity of the Realm King continent. He is also the next world king, and is very famous in the stars, destroying natural knowledge. But I didn't think that the other party, the successor of the Realm King, would come to him. Miesheng, you are also a person with a divine position. Just because of some words, you are scared to look like this? Zamas frowned and said gloomily, You disappoint me. Humph, Miesheng snorted coldly. It's not your turn to come to see my jokes. If it's all right, get out of here. When Zamas heard it, he laughed in anger, and said with a smile, If I really leave, you will regret it. He didn't come to see each other's jokes. Miesheng also knew about Zamas, and felt that the other party would not be so boring, so he might have plans to come here. Then let's talk. Let's talk. Zamas nodded. The people in the outside world didn't know that another terrifying existence was coming at this time, which made their chances of winning drop again. Just now, when the Realm King faced Miesheng, although he said those words, he was also sweating coldly behind his back, afraid that Miesheng would break the jar and fall. And he was so angry that he destroyed the entire northern time and space. That would make all his years of hard work in vain. Although the origin of time and space will be repaired according to time. But I don't know how long the next repair will take, and all life will fall. At that time, only some space-time gods were left, and they were useless. Because mortals have gods. Without a foundation, what use is God? Originally, I wanted to take the opportunity to persuade Disheng, but I didn't expect the other party to leave without thinking. That's why the Realm King is worried. Now can only wait. Jian Wushuang did not stop because of these things. Still fighting Broly at this time. And he had already killed Broly for the second time. Now the other party has recovered from the Temple of Destruction. I am afraid there is a small reincarnation inside the Temple of Destruction. Jian Wushuang guessed in his heart. Let Jiang Shang go to die. I am afraid it is for the sake of the Wanlu Shinmu in the opponent's body. Absorb the phantom of Wanlu Shinmu. And there will be life. The power of life, with only so little life force, can create reincarnation. Although he is an opponent, he has to admire the strength of Miesheng. He just created the Samsara sword at first, and he exhausted all means. It was finally difficult to form. Up to now, it is only the Theravada realm. But the death of life easily casts a small reincarnation. It is God after all. He is also looking forward more and more to the showdown with death. Too bad he can't even handle a Broly now. Broly, who appeared again, raised his breath to a new level. Time and space reincarnation. This time, he did not hesitate, and it was the strongest sword that came up. The second time he defeated the opponent, it was because of this strongest sword. I just don't know how many swords are needed this time to be able to kill the opponent. He doesn't believe it anymore. This small reincarnation can always bring Broly back to life. With a sword, Broly's half-body was chopped by him. Only this time the other party did not fall. It's pretty much what he thought. One sword is not enough, then 2 swords, 3 swords and even 10,000 swords. He's like a bully now, blocking the door of other people's houses and killing one when he comes out. The first 2 times were fine and I could play for a while. The third time, Jian Wushuang couldn't take it anymore. Because there was no fighting intent, only killing intent was left. With several swords, the power of the starry sky has dropped a lot, and Broly, who has been resurrected for the 3rd time, has been completely smashed. Lord Realm King, is there a way? He knew that Realm King was coming, but he didn't have time to talk to him. After killing Broly for the 3rd time, he also turned to look at Realm King. At this time, the Realm King hesitated. There is a way, just. Seeing that the Realm King was so entangled, Wu Zua, who was next to him, couldn't help but ask. What is the solution? You say it's all at this point now. You shut up. The king of the northern realm roared. He was more depressed than anyone. But it doesn't matter. Jian Wushuang's eyes firmly waited for the northern realm king's solution. But the king of the northern realm had nothing to do except for the nonsense that the king of the great realm said when he left. His face was flushed and his ears were red, and he couldn't say a solution. After hesitating for a moment, the king of the northern realm suddenly thought of something when his eyes moved, and quickly said, "Yes." This confused Jian Wushuang. "Broly, she is still bred in the Temple of Destruction. It's just that this time the gestation is different. Because of the appearance of Zamas, the original plan of destroying life was advanced. The small reincarnation was completely integrated with Broly's divine body. A crazy beast is about to come out. His power." Zamas couldn't help but be surprised when he saw Broly, who fused the heart of Samsara. "It seems to exceed the 9 tribulations realm." Niesheng shook his head and said, "No, it's still a long way off, but the heart of reincarnation will gradually strengthen his power. That means he will get stronger and stronger the more he fights." "That's right." Niesheng laughed lightly. "He's not in a good mood right now. First he was hit by the Kai King, and then Zamasu came down and cooperated with him. But it didn't have much effect. Run counter to his goals. This time it was successful, and the position of reincarnation is gone. But there is one place for the king of the realm. Zamasu promised the king of the northern dimension to the death of life. Beginning to die is not worth seeing. However, Zamasu promised that as long as he became the of the world king, he would arrange the death to become the new king of the world. The great realm king is not an ordinary space-time god, comparable to the star god. If it was before, the extinction of life would not be worth it, because he was originally a star god. But now there is no way out. It is enough to maintain his previous glory. As long as you live, you will have unlimited opportunities. Okay, I won't stay here any longer, just wait for your triumph." Zamas let out a smile, threw a small wooden box to Niesheng, and exhorted, "Remember, after fusion, it will no longer be possible. Separate." Niesheng took a deep breath and did not speak, opened the wooden box and found a jade slip inside, and said solemnly, "Is this the secret method created by the Realm King? I didn't expect that I would use it one day." Tisk tsk. Zamas left the Temple of Destruction without saying anything. For him, there is no way to destroy life, and he can only be at his mercy. There is no need to supervise the battle, and the opponent will work hard to destroy the entire northern time and space. After he left, Niesheng first released Broly, and then began the final step of the plan. It's also a plan that never changes. Even if it can't become a reincarnation position, this plan will also be implemented, because this is his promise to Shan Jun. Chapter 6098. The latest website, Qishan Temple Tomb God Mountain. In the cave that originally belonged to Jian Wushuang, a black mist gathered. A black figure walked out of the cave. That appearance is exactly the same as Jian Wushuang's appearance. Only the hair turned black. The key is breath. He does not have any breath of Jian Wushuang. This is the original second soul. Jian Wushuang thought that he was self-destructing, and he never imagined that he had been controlled by destiny in the dark. Call. The figure of Fusue let out a sigh of relief. It rushed straight to the foot of the Tomb God Mountain. There are no obstacles along the way. No one dared to stop it, because he has the same face as Jian Wushuang. Soon he entered the first prison of Qi Temple. Looking at the chain below, the corner of his mouth rose, grabbed the chain with one hand, and pulled it out with a sharp pull, directly pulling out the first prison of the mighty Qishan Temple. At this time, Gu Jun was the only one left in the first prison. Feeling the breath of the outside world, Gu Jun suddenly opened his eyes. At first glance, I saw the black Jian Wushuang that was exactly the same as Jian Wushuang. Without waiting for Gu Jun to speak, Hey Jian Wushuang, just like carrying a chicken, he carried Gu Jun and left. Because the true spirit of the outside world has found something wrong. The first prison was broken. Jinling was the first to return to the Qi Temple. But before he could see the murderer who destroyed the first prison, he felt dark. Almost fainted. After coming over in a trance, the breath has disappeared. Guarded against all odds but still not guarded. He has long known that Gu Jun is useful for destroying life, so he has been hiding it. I thought it would be okay. Otherwise, Miesheng would have taken Gu Jun away long ago. Unexpectedly, it was stolen at this time. Swish! Go back to the Qishan temple. Jinling had a dark face. What's up? Seeing that Jinling was so serious, everyone gathered around. In order to stabilize the military heart, Jinling said silently, "It's okay, just go back and have a look." It is better not to say this sentence, but to say it makes people nervous. The breath that disappeared had already arrived at the Temple of Destruction at this time. Shan Jun and Mo Jun and Gu Jun also gathered together at this time. Miesheng and He Jian Wushuang stood in front of the three of them. "Let's start," Miesheng said indifferently. "Fortunately, I left behind." The last sentence was said to He Jian Wushuang. This is one of his clones, and it will naturally return to the original body when it is used up. Destruction is preparing for the last resort, and the perfect Broly has been freed from the cage. And now his goal is to destroy everything. Outside world. Broly is here. His eyes turned waxy white again. This means that the other party has completely lost consciousness and has completely turned into a beast. Jian Wushuang was a little scared when he saw the other party's appearance. Although it was still 20 million in divine power, the breath and oppression made him a little breathless. The rest of the people felt that their chests were dull just by seeing Broly's appearance, and when they felt the breath on Broly's body, their scalps almost exploded. Great horror! The Lord of the Universe in the Six Tribulations realm did not dare to stare at Broly all the time. They even wanted to enter Qishan Temple and watch the battle through the sky. Don't dare to feel the breath so close. It's too depressing. And it's so depressing that people have no fighting spirit, and even have the idea of self-destruction. This is the most terrifying. Jinling glanced at everyone, then waved his hand and said, "The Lord of the Universe below the Seven Tribulations realm, enter the Qishan Temple, so as not to distract Jian Wushuang." Hearing Jinling's words, it was considered to give them a face, and they entered the Qishan Temple. Only the 8 gods were left, as well as Shang and Luo. "Luo, you can go in too." Shang turned to look at his Taoist companion, feeling that it was too dangerous to be in the outside world. The power of the two is only about 3 million. The rest are at least 5 million or more. Much stronger than the two. Also able to look directly at Broly. Shang and Luo are a little worse. Luo raised his head and glanced at Shang. His eyes firmly said, "You will not retreat. I will not retreat." "What are you talking about?" Shang's face sank, and he said righteously, "I am the heir of the Qi Temple, don't compare with me." The other Luo wanted to refute, but half of what he said, he swallowed it again. But the look said it all. She will stay. At this time, everyone was amazed at Broly's terrifying aura, and didn't care about the conversation between Shang and Luo. Looking at the revived Broly, Jian Wushuang was too lazy to wait for the real king's solution, and immediately prepared to take action. But he was stopped by the king of the northern realm who was in deep thought. Etc. Jian Wushuang stopped his figure, looked at the king of the northern realm in confusion, and said anxiously, "There is no time. And now we have to deal with Broly before killing life." "Jian Wushuang, take this token." The realm king tangled for a long time, and threw out a blue token with a big Ming on it. And the handwriting is very similar to the God King token that Jian Wushuang obtained. This is. Jian Wushuang was stunned, and only after he got it did he realize that there was a power that contained the entire northern time and space. This is different from the token that Xianyi left him. In fact, he was so confident because Teacher Xuanyi gave him a whole card. I am afraid that Teacher Xianyi will not give him that token if he does not hope that he can win the death. Jian Wushuang. This token carries all the divine power of the North Dimension. You can't stand alone in this battle. I think everyone has to contribute. If you lose, crush the token and mobilize the entire North Dimension. Power, let's finish the final battle. After the Realm King finished speaking, he took a deep breath. Perhaps this was the reminder the great Realm King gave him. When necessary, he should give it a go, because he still has people he trusts, and he can fight against the odds. And this person is Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang, who was holding the token, was a little moved, carrying the battle of the northern time and space on his back. Pressure is nothing. But this move is too dangerous. Once he loses, the entire northern time and space will be buried with him. The province's eradication has started. In fact, he has a better way, such as using the token that teacher Xianyi left him. Although he doesn't really want to use it, he will still use it if he really encounters a death crisis. If he has this token, he has confidence. This is the greatest usefulness of the token. There is always someone to give him the bottom line. I had this feeling before. It will be gone after arriving at Dasiu. Afterwards, he went all the way by his own efforts. Trying hard every time. Never really enjoyed a real fight. There is an opportunity in front of him now. And he has to consider whether it will be the only opportunity. You must show your strength and go all out. I want to try it. The Realm King was stunned and said in surprise, "What do you want to try?" "Try where my limit is." Jian Wushuang finished speaking, and came directly to Broly in a flash. The two fought against each other again. Super Eternal Change. Jian Wushuang clenched his fists and shouted angrily, "Ha!" The dark blue breath spreads all over the body, and the blue arcs are flickering. "Broly, I want to see how strong you are." Clang! The sword of 10,000 tribulations came out. This time it is the strongest secret method. There is no hold. Even if Broly has reached the complete body, it is still a little difficult to face the time-space Samsara sword, and he can only barely resist. The sword shadow travels through time and space, like a frightened bird, and graceful like a dragon. Wanton shuttle in time and space, reincarnation everything. Before he knew it, his time-space reincarnation sword had reached the Mahayana realm. That's what fighting is about. The beauty of combat. Go beyond your own limits one at a time, and let the secrets be perfected in battle. The more you fight, the stronger. He even got the upper hand, with the fierceness of the sword cobrally. "Haha, are you capable of this?" Jian Wushuang unleashed 10,000 swords together, creating a time and space of swords, suppressing Broly fiercely in it, turning his head and smiling at the Realm King. "He's not as scary as you think. Give me an hour, and he'll take his head." The Realm King also looked a little confused. If he hadn't seen the battle just now, he wouldn't believe it was fought by a master of the 7 Tribulations realm universe. Those who didn't know thought it was 2 9 Tribulations realm fighting. Although they did not reach the 9 Tribulations realm, the two of them had a unique atmosphere of the 9 Tribulations realm. Terrifying breath. Good, good, good. Jinling couldn't understand the doorway, but he could see that Jian Wushuang had the upper hand. So he shouted to boost his morale. The rest of the people also leaked joy after being shocked. Shocked that Jian Wushuang looked harmless to humans and animals, but was able to fight the violent Broly like this. And also suppress Broly. If it was them, let alone suppressing them, they would not even have the desire to fight. To go up is to die. Only Huiqing can compare. Even at this moment, everyone thinks that Jian Wushuang is stronger than Huiqing in the future. Humph! The Realm King snorted coldly at this time, pouring cold water on everyone. Don't be stupid. Didn't you see Broly's aura rising faster than Jian Wushuang? Only he and Huiqing could see this point. Even Jian Wushuang in the battle didn't notice that Broly's breath became stronger and stronger with the battle, and the speed of improvement was faster than himself. Beat Broly in an hour? From the Realm King's point of view, Jian Wushuang could withstand a quarter of an hour. Boom. Really? Just after the king's words were finished, Broly, who was trapped in the time and space of the sword, broke the time and space of the sword, and smashed the time and space constructed by Jian Wushuang. Huh. Jian Wushuang was stunned for a moment, and tried to suppress Broly again. But he found that the other party's breath had overshadowed himself. This growth rate made a trace of worry flash in his eyes. It is not possible to use God's domain to grow so fast. What if he uses Dominion? Can his hidden power surpass Broly? Suddenly he wanted to try it out. Time and space. Reincarnation. He started with the strongest sword and cut it out again, but was easily blocked by Broly. His strongest sword is useless. The breath was also suppressed. This time, it was his turn to be at a disadvantage, and the key point was that his growth had come to an end. But there is no hope of a turnaround. Jia. Broly made a strange sound, clenched his fists and rushed over. Boom. One punch. Jian Wushuang couldn't dodge in time and was instantly blasted thousands of miles away. Divine power dropped a lot in an instant. I don't believe it anymore. He gritted his teeth, and when his thoughts moved, the time and space around him began to change. Holy area. Chapter 6099. The latest website. In silence it has come. Broly, I'll show you my true power today. Jian Wushuang walked out of the magma, looked up at the Temple of Destruction, and shouted angrily, "Destruction! Aha!" He bowed slightly, clenched his fists tightly, and began to explode divine power in the realm of the gods. 20 million. That was the limit of his time and space in the north. At present, his basic divine power is 8 million, plus the robbery armor, which is equal to 10 million basic divine power. Perform super eternity change, and increase it by 100 times. Converted into divine power, it is a full 20 million. However, the super eternal transformation has not increased his current divine power so much. In the end it just added 15 million. This is what he looked like when he grew up, otherwise it would be lower. Plus base power. That's 25 million divine powers. This scene was stunned by the death and the true spirit. As for the powerhouses in the Qishan temple, they were dumbfounded. They don't know how much the ultimate power is. But now only seeing Jian Wushuang through the sky, it seems to see the end of divine power. 25 million divine powers. Unexpectedly, it can be so strong. Shang and Luo said in unison, both shocked by Jian Wushuang. Wuxia knew about God's domain, and reminded him, "Don't worry, Brother Wushuang hasn't used the Yuanyuan dojo. Broly doesn't have the Yuanyuan dojo. No matter how fast he grows, how can he be strong? Don't talk nonsense, just watch it." Junling cut off Wuxia's boasting. Could he not have known that Broly had no origin? The point is that Broly also hides a huge amount of divine power. At least 10 million. That is to say 30 million divine powers can be erupted in the realm of the gods. On Jian Wushuang's side, without restrictions, it exploded to 25 million directly. Wanting to take a sigh of relief, he stared at Broly and said, "Why? Shouldn't you be more crazy without the suppression?" Well, Broly stared at Jian Wushuang and found that the other party's divine power suppressed him, but he only increased his breath. I don't know anything about God's domain at all. To put it simply, the opponent is a genius in battle, but his brain is stupid and has no consciousness. Broly, Mieshun couldn't help reminding at this time. "You fool burst into supernatural power." Hearing this sentence, Jian Wushuang reacted. In an instant, he rushed towards Broly. "I want to use this short time to solve each other." Now Broly doesn't know the explosion of divine power. He can completely kill the opponent with absolute divine power. At the moment of the shot, his origin dojo also descended. It is an unlit starry sky. Among them, there are 7 origin universes shining brightly. Divine power has also increased from 2,500 to 38 million. This is his limit. Through the increase of the source dojo, it is directly comparable to a demigod. Destruction looks stupid. The most shocking thing was Jian Wushuang's origin dojo, which turned out to be the starry sky. It's not surprising why Jian Wushuang's supernatural power increases so much. Such a powerful divine power. No matter how much Broly hides, he will die. Boom! A punch hit Broly directly in the chest. Puff! Jian Wushuang's entire arm passed through Broly's body. Both the divine body and the fleshly body were penetrated. The 20 million divine body to him now is like thin paper. Suddenly increasing so much, his control of power has dropped a lot. There are also strong sequelae. Such an increase in divine power was a great burden on him. Still, it's okay to keep fighting. Broly, who was pierced through his chest, looked down at Jian Wushuang's arm, his eyes filled with blood. With a roar, he wanted to pull out his arm, but was thrown out. Jian Wushuang did not give the opponent any chance to breathe, and rushed forward again, ravaging Broly. This time Jian Wushuang was not careless. The last time he was careless, he was almost overturned and decided to kill him with one hit. Clang! Stop shouting! Jian Wushuang rose from the lava and said, "Today is your day of death." Jian Wushuang's figure flashed, and when he came to Broly's side, he slashed out with the sword, directly splitting Broly into two pieces, without waiting for the opponent's recovery, and the Broly's divine body, which was slashed by several swords, was completely shattered. But he knew that as long as the Temple of Destruction remained, Broly would recover again. So his main goal this time is the Temple of Destruction. Not good. The death in the temple also noticed a problem, and quickly tried to stop Jian Wushuang, but it was still too late. In God's domain, Jian Wushuang's speed was extremely fast, and he instantly reached the top of the Temple of Destruction, clenching the divine sword in both hands. I see if you can be reincarnated after you are broken. Break it for me. Jian Wushuang roared and slashed with the sword. Boom! The entire Temple of Destruction was instantly shattered. Things that were previously unthinkable are now easily accomplished. The Temple of Destruction was completely shattered. A figure also appeared from it. Destroy life. Jian Wu. Shuang. N. Jian Wushuang frowned when he saw Miesheng. He found that the current extinction has also changed. Become a double face. Do you know Zamasu? The real king couldn't help but exclaimed at first. Where did you get that jade slip? Miesheng snorted coldly. You are not qualified to know? Zamas. Jian Wushuang only thought of the super existence of this realm king continent at this time. He looked at Miesheng with killing intent and said coldly, Is it Zamas who colluded with you, or Zamas? Are you here to win over? Hearing Zamasu, the realm king couldn't stand. The other party is the successor of the realm king god. Why can't he just get along with him like this? He is just a realm king of an attached time and space. In the realm king continent, they are all small people. He didn't dare to offend even some demigods. Why did Zamath target him? The realm king is suffering. Endless anger burns. If one day, the other party falls into his hands, he must regret it. Hate to hate, but did not forget the threat at hand, and quickly reminded him through voice transmission. Jian Wushuang, you can't be careless. This time your opponent is destiny. Miesheng. Jian Wushuang looked at the other party with a playful look, and the Miesheng staring at it was a little hairy. You absorbed Shanjun? Disheng didn't react for a while. I really don't know if the other party is really stupid or fake. Stop talking nonsense, let's do it. The annihilation after fusion is much stronger than Broly, the Realm King reminded. Jian Wushuang, don't hesitate, crush the token. I have my own countermeasures. Jian Wushuang did not crush the token as soon as it was opened, but chose to test. But after the fight, he realized that he was not an opponent at all. The current state of destruction is much more terrifying than Broly, especially the endless means, which is much more powerful than a lunatic. Puff! After the punch was repelled, Jian Wushuang's divine body shattered a lot. It seems that everything is still at stake. Jian Wushuang no longer hesitated, and directly smashed the Northern Time and Space token given to him by the Realm King. At the moment when the token was crushed, the entire Northern Time and Space trembled. The infinite power instantly gathered on the top of Jian Wushuang's head. The powerful force was irrigated, and Jian Wushuang's divine power instantly broke 50 million. The key will not be suppressed by the Northern Time and Space. But his divine body cannot carry this divine power. He didn't need to kill himself, he couldn't take it anymore. No, I must resist. Jian Wushuang roared inwardly, constantly instilling power into his own source, and letting the source starry sky absorb it. The power that was absorbed was his own. Divine power rose sharply, causing Miesheng beside him to be startled. You lunatic, actually dragged the practitioners of the entire Northern Time and Space to gamble? Destruction is also well informed and understood. Suddenly furious, this Bei Shirkong was about to fall into his hands, but it couldn't be destroyed like this. So he was ready to stop Jian Wushuang. Miesheng, I'm afraid you have to step over me first. Swish. Hui Qing's figure blocked Miesheng. Court death. At this time, there is no time to take care of Hui Qing, and the shot is all out. Hui Qing couldn't stop it at all, and was constantly ravaged by the destruction of life. The divine body was dilapidated, and he fell to the ground and fell into a deep sleep. But it also bought time for Jian Wushuang. Call! Jian Wushuang opened his eyes and looked at Miesheng. He had absorbed all of his divine power at this time. It's still a bit reluctant, but it finally works for me. Now it's my turn. Chapter 6100. Latest website. Jian Wushuang pulled out the sword of myriad tribulations and landed suddenly. The breath swept around, and the crushing life couldn't breathe. Feeling the suppression of the death from the entire northern time and space, my eyes widened, and my body was trembling. With just one punch, Miexing flew out backwards, and Jian Wushuang relied on extremely fast speed to catch up again, constantly hitting Miexing. Click. Miexing, why doesn't your divine power work anymore? Jian Wushuang slowly descended, staring at the changed Miexing with disdain in his eyes. At this moment, he felt that God was just like that, nothing special. God is inviolable. Jian Wushuang was stunned for a moment, but before he could react, a black spear flashed before his eyes. The spear pierced his divine body. The speed of that moment seemed like eternity, so that after passing through, Jian Wushuang only reacted. The moment Miexing took out his spear, his combat power instantly reached its limit. It directly surpassed Jian Wushuang. With the memory and consciousness of destroying life, the knowledgeable destroying life, he clenched his fist and put the spear in his hand, stared at Jian Wushuang, and said indifferently, "Now it's my turn." The spear pierced through time and space, and kept attacking Jian Wushuang. Puff puff. Jian Wushuang could only block with both hands. Although he was just a little careless and was pierced by the divine body, he seemed extremely excited and said excitedly, "Yes, the divine power has indeed improved a lot. It seems that you and Shanjun have completely merged." The double-haired fight also went from one-sided to evenly matched. The fight continues. The barren land in the downstream time and space was destroyed beyond recognition by the two of them. Many tributaries reconvened. It seems to be a trend to regroup and become a mainstream. Fortunately, the origin here is thin, and there are few practitioners. Even with very little life, the two of them fought without any scruples. The two fought from the void to the turbulent flow of time and space, and then from the turbulent flow of time and space into the barren depths, all the way to the end of the tour. Qi Shindian did not dare to approach it, so he could only follow it all the way. Jie Wang clenched his fists and broke into a cold sweat for Jian Wushuang. Come on, North Time and Space can't hold it anymore. Although God's domain covers the downstream time and space, God's domain is only a treasure after all, not its origin. The battle between Jian Wushuang and Destiny still consumes the origin of the northern time and space. This battle has consumed most of the heritage of the North Time and Space. If we continue like this, the source of the northern time and space will be exhausted. Consuming half of the heritage requires several rounds of repairs. The concept of time is actually very vague for the real super powerhouse. Moment. Breathe. Moment. Hour, day, month, year, era. Above the era is reincarnation. The time of reincarnation is the most vague and not fixed. Generally, it is a cycle of trillions of epochs. Few of the masters of the universe of the 8 tribulations can survive an era. In the northern time and space, apart from the realm king and the gods, the 3 ancient existences have survived the longest. Among them, the old man Tiansong has lived 12 reincarnations. That is, the entire northern time and space, after which there are 12 reincarnations. Every reincarnation makes Bei Shikong stronger. The current intense background is likely to fall short. It will take several rounds to accumulate in the future. Originally, there was a gap with the other 3 affiliated time and space, and it was a little behind, let alone surpassed. And even the back of the counter was not visible. The Realm King also has difficulties. It is necessary to cultivate strong practitioners, otherwise it will be dereliction of duty. Lord Realm King, they won't reach the end of the game, right? Wuxia watched as the 2 huge air masses charged again and again, and were heading downstream. Something is wrong with this. The Realm King did not speak. It would be nice if it was a final game. Where is it not up to him? The end of the tour and the opening of time and space are both the ultimate places. It's really not up to him. And where time and space can be much stronger than here. The starting point of the upstream, constantly gathering time and space, I don't know how many years it has been formed. After so many years of accumulation, let alone Jian Wushuang and destiny, even the super powerful in the universe cannot destroy it. And it is more stable than the time and space of the Realm King continent. I didn't expect that the battle of return would look like this. Even the well-informed Wuxia felt that his return this time was not only beyond his ability, but also beyond his cognition. Can only watch. Boom. Among the countless air masses, Jian Wushuang ignored everything, turned into a streamer, and traveled through time and space. The following Miesheng was chasing after him and shouted angrily, Jian Wushuang, you have no way out. But Jian Wushuang was like no one in it. Turning his head and looking at the death behind him, he sneered. It's your speed that is too slow. The reason why he kept hiding was because he had just received a voice transmission from the Realm King. I want to change the battlefield. You can't destroy the entire downstream space-time just because you defeat the extinction. This is their territory. The one who loses is himself. Fortunately, in the downstream time and space, the tributaries that gave birth to life were all gathered together, and the remaining 99% of the site was a barren land. He is going to go to the depths of the barren land, and then make the final victory, or defeat with the death. After fighting for so long, the time has come to decide the winner. Whoosh! A black beam of light burst out from the hands of destruction. Jian Wushuang, who felt the power of the blow, hurriedly lowered his body to hide. This is not a simple air wave. If he really wants to be hard, he will be injured. But just when he turned to dodge, Miesheng had already arrived behind him, and a spear had already touched his face. Die! Miesheng roared, and he was waiting for this opportunity. The previous attacks were all blindfolds. After living for so many years, his fighting skills have long been studied to the extreme. The black spear with an electric arc penetrated directly into Jian Wushuang's head, then added another kick. After being attacked originally, Jian Wushuang lost the ability to resist, and this kick directly lifted him hundreds of millions of miles. The body fell uncontrollably, slipped, and penetrated the entire other shore. It finally stopped at the tail of a very small tributary. Jian Wushuang, who was leaning on the ground, staggered to his feet, and his divine power began to shatter. He raised his hand to hold the spear on his head, and pulled it out with all his strength, even with his strong divine power. After pulling out the spear, his body softened. Turning his head and looking at the long river of time and space next to him, he smiled. Is this the last tour? Eyes pulled away. Look up. At the end of the long river of time and space, there is a huge abyss. It is even bigger than the abyss in the middle reaches of time and space. According to the Realm King, this abyss cannot even be refined by Realm King gods. And it is the super existence in the starry sky that is placed here. This abyss does not belong to the northern dimension. It is the gathering place of the entire subsidiary time and space, just like the Wonder Waterfall in the upstream time and space. It is the ultimate place of time and space. After the rupture of the physical body recovered, Jian Wushuang fought hard. His body continued to rise, and the corners of his mouth rose. At this moment, he revealed an unprecedented confidence. Destroy life. N. After feeling the decline of Jian Wushuang's divine power, before Miesheng could speak, he saw the other party's confident expression and asked curiously, "Why, your brain is so stupid? Take a good look. This will give you the last glimpse of the world." Jian Wushuang pointed at everything around him, and said indifferently, "Perhaps this is the last bit of truth in this world, because the next battle is likely to destroy the surrounding barren land, leaving only the abyss." Chapter 6101. The latest website. Haha. Dishing laughed frantically. Jian Wushuang, no one can save you now. Stop imagining, prepare to die. Hum. Jian Wushuang clenched his fists tightly, and the aura on his body began to change. Originally black short hair, faintly turned into blue. Super Eternity. This is Jian Wushuang's Super Eternity change. The terrifying divine power directly knocked the annihilation back thousands of miles. He stared at Jian Wushuang in disbelief, unable to say a word in surprise. The huge movement, even in the upstream, can be clearly felt. It's a win this time. The Realm King looked at Jian Wushuang excitedly. Too strong. That feeling is like facing a universe god. Now he will not think that there is still hope of flipping through life. Jian Wushuang, kill me. Mieshing with a Shanjun tone, as if begging for mercy, tilted his head and lost his fighting spirit. Now he just wants Jian Wushuang to shoot and kill him. But what he didn't expect was that Jian Wushuang had gathered a force of life and injected it into the body. This is what I pay you back. Mieshing smiled bitterly. Why? He knew what Jian Wushuang was going to do. After you repay your kindness, you will never owe each other again. Is there anything you want to explain? Jian Wushuang asked the last sentence. He restored the divine power of destroying life, which was a repayment of Shan Jun's original kindness. The death of divine power was restored, and Jian Wushuang was put into the ground. He raised his head and looked at Jian Wushuang, thinking of the immature little guy at the time, and smiled lightly. Help me tell Zhu Qi. She misjudged people, and also tell the true spirit of Qi Temple on my behalf. And tell him that Morwa time and space, the one who regretted it, was also wrong. Wrong. How heavy are these two words? But it was spit out from Shanjun's mouth. It is not difficult to see now that Qixin did not abandon the way of devouring, but incarnates the way of devouring. Bewitched by destruction, I want to go further. In fact, Qixin at that time could successfully transcend the tribulation. If he succeeds, he is still a peak powerhouse of the 8 tribulations realm. I will. Jian Wushuang nodded indifferently. The gentle eyes disappeared in an instant. Destruction took the lead. It seems that some terrifying death has returned to the general. Jian Wushuang. Mieshing shouted angrily, and the power of endless death erupted. A spear instantly condensed in his hand, and his figure soared to 10,000 feet. Looking at the maddening death in front of him, Jian Wushuang knew in his heart that this was for him to do it. He can only satisfy each other. Clang! He pulled out the sword of myriad tribulations. The blade hummed. As soon as the sword of myriad tribulations was unsheathed, it couldn't help trembling. For a time, the 6th sword of the starry sky catalog filled Jian Wushuang's mind. Everlasting is also an enemy? Immortal can be cut. Jian Wushuang burst out all the divine power, and the full blow condensed on the sword body. The powerful force directly shattered the surrounding time and space. The entire time and space shattered, leaving only the huge abyss. Long. A sword cut out, leaving a most amazing color in the void. The sword light covers the entire northern time and space. Countless practitioners are looking up to the power of this sword. The deceased with a spear laughed wildly. Haha. He swung his spear and faced death. Facing Jingguang, his divine body and origin began to shatter, and his consciousness gradually collapsed from this moment. Before his fall, Shanjun and Miesheng split. Miesheng was in a trance, staring at the sword light, and said dumbly, "After crossing so many dead souls, who will cross this seat?" This was the last word he left in this world. Shanjun didn't look at Jingguang, but at Qixin Temple. Pierced at a glance, I saw the woman in red. A smile finally leaked out. I also thought of the first time I met Destiny in Morwa time and space. At that time, he was in high spirits. The 8 tribulations realm is like searching for things, but because of the emergence of death, he gradually lost himself. Looking back now, I have lost far more than I gained. I am sorry. Shanjun took one last look and looked at Jinling. Also at the last moment, the shape of the body was reversed and changed to what it was before. Blue sword light pierces everything. Also flattened everything. Kindness and hatred are written off. Jian Wushuang held the sword and was not calm for a long time. Clang! Sheath the sword. It is also like the convergence of killing intent. The void returned to calm, but it was raining in the sky. It's not blood, it's rain. Jian Wushuang raised his hand to grab it, feeling a touch of warmth, even if the rain was icy cold. End it. Zizi in the origin of Jian Wushuang. The supreme treasure divine realm could no longer bear his powerful divine power at this moment, and was completely shattered. Suddenly, the suppression of the northern time and space came. But that kind of suppression is not worth mentioning for the current Jian Wushuang. You can break all oppression if you want. After all, he has the power of the God of the universe. That's what I said at the beginning. Jian Wushuang just wanted to restrain his breath and suppress his divine power, but found that both the divine body and the source had cracks. What happened? Jian Wushuang frowned. The next moment, the source and the divine body were completely shattered. A sense of tearing of will also arises spontaneously. That heart-piercing feeling can only be experienced by those who have tried it. What? Jian Wushuang covered his head, and his figure slowly descended. His eyes were blurred, and at the last glance he saw Wuxia and the Realm King. Then he lost consciousness. The catastrophe of the downstream time and space, or the catastrophe of the entire northern time and space, is completely over. It's just that no one knows what happened, except for some powerhouses in Qi Temple. The powerhouses in the midstream time and space are watching, and the powerhouses in the upstream space-time are also watching. Only the powerhouses of the downstream time and space are mourning those who perished because of this war. From the moment the Temple of Destruction appeared, the fallen Taoist, Emperor, and Lord of the Universe can now rest in peace. For this reason, the Tomb God Mountain was moved to the most central primitive universe in the downstream space-time. Because all the tributaries of the downstream space-time come together, there is only one long river of space-time left in the entire downstream space-time. In this regard, before the Realm King left, he personally wrote and gave his name, Falling Time and Space. Fallen Time and Space. In respect the original universe. After losing the strongest opponent, the expansion of Qi Shrine was extremely smooth, and there was no opponent at all. Today's primordial universe has become a holy place in downstream time and space. Countless practitioners are eager to enter the primordial universe. The 4 secret realms of Qishan Temple have also become the past. The current role is the same as before, in order to cultivate inheritors. The first generation of inheritors were carefully selected by Jinling. In addition to the original universe, the rest of the universe are some of the top Daojun, and even master the ultimate way. The most powerful are born, such as Business, Light and Shadow, Backbone Luo and others. The second generation inheritors were selected in the confrontation with the Temple of Destruction. It's a sect. The representative is Luo. As for the third generation of inheritors, it is not ordinary. The hesitant Realm King tilted the source and gave the downstream power of the majestic source of time and space, and it exploded in 1,000,000 epochs, giving birth to several lords of the 7 tribulations realm universe. As for the 8 tribulations, that's a bottleneck. There is only one 8 tribulations realm in the entire Qishan Temple. Even so, no one dared to underestimate the Qi Temple. Because of that battle, many mid-range powerhouses came, and even the super powerhouses in the upstream space and time came one after another. I went to observe the traces left on the battlefield, benefited a lot, and kept practicing. Wuxia took the opportunity to ask for the viewing fee, and took the opportunity to slaughter everyone. The powerhouses in the middle reaches of time and space are not Wuxia's opponents. The powerhouses in the upper reaches of space and time know the relationship between Wuxia and the Realm King, so they don't dare to do anything, so they can only take out the treasures. In fact, it is not Wuxia buckle. But now the cost of Qishan Temple is very large. The key is that Wuxia himself has also opened up a sect. Qishan Temple is the open source place for all sections. The inheritor also opened up the school and established a sect, and widely accepted disciples. Finally, send it to Qi Temple, and you can exchange for some treasures. Wuxia didn't accept disciples for those treasures, but instead sent treasures to Qi Temple. The first is to fulfill his master's dream, and make Qi Shindian brilliant again. The second is to satisfy the things that you have not done before. The Taoist palace he built is now the top 3 sects in the Qishan Temple. In the Qishan Temple, except for the inheritors of the Tomb God Mountain, the rest of the forces were scattered. For example, Yuanyang Palace. However, the position of the 4 great halls remained. Millions of epochs have passed, and the original battle is still vivid in my mind. Everyone is imagining the scene of which battle, but no one is imagining who the 2 sides of the battle are. Destruction has also become a taboo, and few people mention it. As for the other, Everyone knows who it is, because his carving is in the wasteland of the far universe. Wasteland. In fact, it was the original Great Wilderness. Live at the intersection of Tongtian Buddha realm and Desiyu, the origin of Qi Temple, the place where Jian Wushuang changed his life. It is also the place where I met Hui Qing. The current wasteland is no longer a wasteland, has become the core of the original universe, because Qishan Temple is also here. Nature is the center of the strong. Whoa! On this day, two strangers came to the wasteland. The two were dressed strangely, and there was no breath on their bodies, so that no one noticed the arrival of the two. A lot of cultivators. One of the older middle-aged men stood in the air and looked at a small town, sighing. Xiao Sijia. This seems to be the hometown of Wushuang brother. Next to the middle-aged man, there was a bald-headed boy whose skin was green, and he was not a human cultivator. Yes or no? The young man said indifferently. It should be what it looks like after reconstruction. What a big piece of work. The middle-aged man sighed, thinking that his family and hometown were gone, and he felt a little sad. The two of them didn't stay in Xiaosiji too much. The figures flew slowly and quickly left Xiaosiji, heading towards the Qishan Temple in the core of the wasteland. Chapter 6102. If Jian Wushuang saw the two of them, he would be very happy. Unfortunately, Jian Wushuang and Hui Qing are both sleeping now. Brother Danbao. Outside the Qi Temple, Wu Zuo was wearing a yellow Taoist robe and the same old Taoist crown. From a distance he saw Danbao and Wu Li and shouted, "I'll wait for you at last." Sorry. Danbao came to Wu Zuo and clasped his fists in a salute, but Wu Zuo quickly stopped him. No, you are the of life now, and you have created a secret method of resurrection. If those scattered robbers see you doing this to me, they will not be able to grasp it. Wu Zuo joked. Although it's a joke, it's not an exaggeration at all. Danbao created the secret method of resurrection, and now the entire northern time and space has offered Danbao as a father. All the scattered tribulations, even the lords of the universe, have placed the Dharma images of Danbao in their sects or their own caves. The secret of resurrection. Not only is the robbery waiting, the realm king is also waiting. After waiting for countless years, until the god of life. Second, after waiting for 1,000,000 epochs, Danbao created the secret method of resurrection. The realm king is very happy. The sooner he creates the secret method of resurrection, the stronger the background of the northern time and space will be. Because every day there will be scattered disasters. Although Jian Wushuang took out a lot of life force at the beginning, it was only distributed to those big forces, or the powerhouses of the 8 tribulations realm. The real stratum robbery can't get the power of life at all. As soon as the secret method of resurrection comes out, the world will be amnesty. All scattered robbery once again condensed a new origin. Together with the origin of the entire northern time and space, it has been improved. Today, the divine power of the northern time and space can reach 30 million. The next step is to enhance the life source of the entire northern time and space. At that time, the 9 tribulations realm will be born. Can you not let the lords of the universe offer it up? Brother Wu Zuo is kidding me again. Danbao's face turned red, and he could only answer with a smile. Although millions of epochs have passed, Danbao still has no change and still looks shy. Wu Li couldn't help but ask behind him. Wu Zuo, take us in quickly. I can't wait to go in and have a look. Over the years, he has returned to the upstream time and space, heard about the Qishan Temple, and has always wanted to go in and have a look. So this time, I have the cheek to follow Danbao to the downstream time and space. Blame me. Wu Zuo patted his head and said carelessly, I've been talking here all the time, come here, please come inside. Originally, Wu Zuo, who was rather arrogant to everyone, respected Danbao very much, and even treated Wu Li politely, because Jian Wushuang and Hui Qing. Only Danbao can repair the origin of Jian Wushuang. Only the god of life can do that. He was afraid of offending the other party, so he wouldn't give Jian Wushuang a good repair. Entering Qishan Temple, he had already prepared drinks. He even asked Shang and Luo to accompany him. In order to put on the show, the true spirit was pulled out by him. Seeing all this, Danbao shook his head slightly and said solemnly, "Let's take me to see Brother Wushuang first." Good. 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 Wuzwa said 3 good words in a row. Luo Du felt that Wuzwa had changed and became like a dog's leg. Nodding and bowing, he led the way to Danbao. Is this still the Wuzwa who almost fought Wu Tian when he was choosing his disciples? In the Qishan temple, Wuzwa looked like his nostrils were upturned to everyone except the true spirit. Now it's like a different person. The businessman next to him can see clearly. It also leaked a smiling face, imitating Wuzwa's appearance, and followed. True spirit personally leads the way. Take the crowd into the Tomb of God. Tomb God Mountain Peak. The 2 ice coffins exuding cold air were silent in a pool of clear water. Brother Wushuang. The moment he saw the ice coffin, Danbao's eyes turned red. Wu Li, who was laughing and laughing, also quieted down, looking at Jian Wushuang's current appearance, just as uncomfortable. Back then, as the 3rd uncle of Jian Wushuang, he boasted about his great-nephew a lot. Now seeing Jian Wushuang quietly waiting in the ice coffin, he is also a little sad. Fortunately, this time Danbao is here to repair Jian Wushuang. Immediately wake up. Since the end of the war, millions of epochs have passed, and finally this day has come. If it wasn't for Danbao's retreat, Jian Wushuang would have been awakened long ago. The realm king was helpless and could only wait. I personally waited for 1,000,000 epochs in the Temple of Immortality. All of a sudden, 2 pieces of good news came. After Danbao knew about Jian Wushuang, he put down everything and rushed over immediately. The secret method of resurrection was handed over to the realm king to spread. But the realm king also went as Danbao, vigorously praised the of life. In just a few years, the secret method of resurrection has completely spread. Even a loose cultivator can obtain the secret method of resurrection. Everyone please take a half step back. Danbao turned his head and said softly, I still need some time. Don't worry, take your time. Wuzwa pulled everyone back a few steps, fearing that it would affect Danbao's performance. Danbao took a deep breath, condensed the green life force in his hands, and began to inject it into the ice coffin where Jian Wushuang was. The power of life was injected into Jian Wushuang's body. It lasted for a full quarter of an hour. Danbao stopped and rested for a while, and continued to inject the power of life. Jian Wushuang's appearance does not seem to have changed much, but his consciousness has begun to become active. Yep. In the void, Jian Wushuang opened his eyes. But it was darkness. Only consciousness is active, nothing can be felt. He was a little lost. The nerves are still tense. Destroy life. He panted heavily, trying to mobilize his divine power. But the next moment he thought that Miesheng was already dead. And he couldn't mobilize any divine power either. Where am I? His eyes widened, but he still couldn't see what was in front of him, but felt that his consciousness was slowly getting stronger. Until I have the ability to think, the memory of the blockbuster has also entered the back of my head. The scene after defeating destruction seems to be just now. He saw Wuzwa and Jiawang walking towards him, and then he lost consciousness. Is it the power of life? He already had thought power in his consciousness, and he could also feel his body, but he couldn't move, and the consciousness in his mind let out a sigh of relief, guessing, I should be injured, someone is fixing it for me. Thinking of this, he felt that something was wrong there, and he thought of Jian Wushuang. Why is there no awareness of Hui Qing? The current consciousness is independent, which means that he is separated from Hui Qing. Surrounded by warmth, his thoughts became stronger and stronger. It is already possible to control the divine body. The closed source also slowly opens. At this time, there was finally a light in front of his eyes. I saw my own original universe. The legal body also condensed. Whoa. Phew. The first breath of air he breathed came from his own origin universe. Chapter 6103. He stepped into Tianqing Mountain and stood on the top of the mountain, trying to mobilize his origin. Thought power was concentrated together, but still couldn't mobilize one bit. How badly am I injured? After killing life, he only remembered that his consciousness was torn apart, And he didn't know where his injury came from. Not to mention that he didn't know. Even the Realm King didn't know why Jian Wushuang was injured. And also separated from Hui Qing. It is said that they cannot be separated. Jian Wushuang and Hui Qing were separated after the collapse of God's domain. It's a little strange indeed. Later, after the analysis of the Realm King, it can only be guessed that the backlash was caused by the ups and downs of divine power. Originally, the backlash was enough to kill Jian Wushuang's consciousness. Fortunately, in the northern time and space, the power of backlash was also suppressed. Therefore, Jian Wushuang and Hui Qing were able to resist. Just fell into a deep sleep. There is still the possibility of waking up. Otherwise, it will perish along with the death. If that were the case, Jian Wushuang would be unlucky to go to his grandma's house. Fortunately, in the northern time and space at that time, the limit was still 20 million divine power. If it is now, he is gone. The power of life gradually awakened his origin, and it also improved his mind power, and was able to mobilize the origin. With the source, he himself can generate the power of life to restore his divine body. My divine power actually dropped to 0? Using his mind power to feel his divine body, Jian Wushuang's eyes widened in fright. 0. This is no different from a mortal. After mobilizing the source, he began to use the power of all things to replenish divine power. There is too much to be supplemented, and I even took out the primordial stone to improve my divine power. 10,000, 100,000. The power of all things is replenished quickly, and the stronger the power of thought, the more special he can feel the power of life. Such a special life force made him think of Dambao. Couldn't help but smile. 1 million. Still can't mobilize the divine power to wake him up. He now has a basic power of 8 million. At least 50% of the divine power needs to be restored. I don't know how long I slept, it shouldn't be long. He guessed secretly in his heart, and soon said that his divine power was half replenished. Pat. The finger moved the ice coffin, and a drop of water fell on his cheek. The ice-cold water droplets were very similar to the rainwater he had come into contact with before he lost consciousness. But the temperature was different. Maybe the environment is different. Wake up. Wu Zuo's eyes kept staring at Jian Wushuang, and the moment his fingers touched, he jumped up. Jinling coughed dryly. If it wasn't for the presence of outsiders, he really wanted to give Wu Zuo a kick, and at this time he could only remind him in words. Wu Zuo, don't be rude. It's all my own, you're welcome. Wu Li turned his head and glanced at Jinling at this moment, revealing a smile. Dambao also noticed that Jian Wushuang was about to wake up, and his life force slowly stopped, waiting for Jian Wushuang to take the initiative to wake up. Get up. I don't know how long it has been since I manipulated my body. Jian Wushuang exhausted all his strength, but couldn't open his eyes. It was more tiring than when he was fighting. After trying several times in a row, my eyelids finally moved. In order to get a boost, he adjusted his breathing and regained some of the feeling of controlling the physical body at the beginning. Call. His lips were slightly opened, and after breathing in the breath of the outside world, he seemed to be infused with popularity, and he opened his eyes smoothly. A pair of clear eyes saw the sky of the tomb of the gods at first glance. Starry. Those are the universe. Brother Wushuang. Brother Wushuang. Jian Wushuang. Everyone came forward together and stood in a circle. See familiar figures, see their smiles. This feeling is really good. A smile is like eternal glory. Fighting is for protection. It may be these smiles that are guarded. But after a while, he felt a little embarrassed by these smiling faces. A group of people gathered around him. As a result, he couldn't stand up. His lips trembled slightly, and he couldn't say a word. Water. Water. The first word he said was because of the hot force in his throat, which made him feel thirsty. A perfect flesh body is still lacking in water? He was a little curious. And instead of looking at the smiling faces, he saw the ice coffin. Then I understood why I was thirsty. Hearing the word water, Wu Zuo quickly took out a pot of wine from the mustard seeds, put it in Jian Wushuang's mouth and poured it. Pfft! Jian Wu's eyes burst open, and a heart-piercing feeling came from his throat. He sat up in an instant and scolded at the top of his voice. Who the is drinking wine? When everyone saw him sitting up suddenly, they were stunned for a while. Then they all stepped back, all looking at Wuxia. Wuxia held the jug, touched his head and said aggrievedly, "That. In this case, it's just right to drink 3 bottles of wine." Jian Wushuang stared at Wuxia with bloodshot eyes. After staring for a while, he laughed. "When I recover, I must drink 30,000 cups with you." Okay. Wuxia took a sip in excitement and laughed. "When you recover, you can drink it for 30,000 years. Everyone laughed when they heard this. Only Dan Bao took out a pot of water and handed it to Jian Wushuang. This time, it's hard work. He took the water bottle and took a sip before he felt relieved. The divine power continued to recover, and he gradually became familiar with the physical body. So he jumped up and came out of the ice coffin. Dan Bao smiled lightly. "This is what I should do." Jian Wushuang also smiled. Indeed, nothing has changed from before. Master True Spirit, Shang Luo. After saying hello one by one, he looked at Wu Li. "Uncle San, your divine power has improved a lot." Hearing this title, Wu Li smiled awkwardly. "What time is it? Brother Wushuang still remembers it." "How could I forget?" Jian Wushuang's eyes were deep, thinking of what happened in the upstream time and space. At the beginning, the two of them had mutual reasons, and went all the way from the Roman River to the Dragon God continent, where they met Dan Bao, and the frozen demon race that made them desperate. After looking around, I didn't find Hui Qing. It was only then that he discovered that there was an ice coffin, and Hui Qing was lying in it. "Hui Qing, how is he?" "It's the same as you." Jinling stepped forward and explained. "I've been sleeping for 1,000,000 epochs, and I was seriously injured when I was killed." "Millionaire?" Jian Wushuang did not expect that he had fallen asleep for so long. The sleeping time exceeded his cultivation time. Although he left Qishan Temple for millions of epochs, he entered the Wanlu Shenmu Cosmos Sea halfway, where the flow rate of personal leave is different from the time in the outside world. Just a few epochs have passed. It's about the same time as rushing back. After all, he left the Qi Temple no more than 10 epochs before and after. But this time, he slept for 1,000,000 epochs. This is the fastest time he has passed, and everything seems to be like yesterday. Chapter 6104. When he woke up, 1,000,000 epochs had passed. Dan Bao. Jian Wushuang turned to look at Dan Bao. The meaning in his eyes doesn't need to be said. Dan Bao understands. "Don't worry, I will resuscitate him." After Dan Bao finished speaking, he concentrated his life force and began to inject it into Hui Qing's body. It didn't take long for Hui Qing's consciousness to wake up. Similar to Jian Wushuang's situation, he woke up after shaking his eyelids a few times. A group of people gathered around again. Hui Qing blinked. Everyone blinked at him. On this day, the two greatest heroes of the Qi Temple all woke up. The entire Qishan Temple was cheering. In the Yuanyang Palace of the Heavenly Realm, a huge banquet was held. Jian Wushuang and Hui Qing sit on either side of the True Spirit. Haha. Jinling smiled and looked at everything that was prosperous in front of him. He turned to look at Jian Wushuang and Hui Qing and said happily, "In order to wait for this day, I have waited 1,000,000 epochs more than you two." After death, Qi Shindian lost its biggest opponent and became the overlord of the downstream space-time. But Jinling never held a banquet because of that battle. Wuxia looked at Jian Wushuang at this time and said what the True Spirit said to everyone. "The protagonist hasn't woken up. You guys are so happy. Hosting a banquet? For whom? At the Light Power Banquet, there is no hero? Is that a celebration feast?" After Jian Wushuang heard it, a hint of a smile leaked out, but there was some sadness in his eyes. Raising the glass of wine, there was a hint of respect in his tone. "Master Jinling, this glass to you." No. Jinling shook his head and said, "This cup, we should respect you and Hui Qing together." Jinling raised his glass, and everyone in the temple fell silent. Countless pairs of eyes stared at the True Spirit above. Some of them are the lords of the universe who rose after the death of life, and there are also lords of the universe who live under the threat of the Temple of Destruction. There are even more generations of inheritors, and even some old people in Qi Temple. For example, the original Yuanyang Palace Master Qingniu, and Wu's life and death brother Lu Hua. Many people. They are all watching. This cup is for everyone. Everyone drinks together. Afterwards they were at will. Wuxia, who was originally going to drink with Jian Wushuang for 30,000 years, had a fight with Wu Li. The two of them directly used the magic weapon of Qingquan to drink, and the interior was a river of wine. I don't know where Wu Li got the Shengguo liquor, but it was just a pot, and Wuxia was thrown down. Made everyone laugh. Jian Wushuang also learned about these years from Zhenling. 1,000,000 epochs is enough to change a lot of things. However, he didn't care about the development of Qi Temple, because without opponents, there would naturally be no waves. Instead, he asked about the shattered Temple of Destruction and Broly's whereabouts. He didn't kill Broly. The other party should still be alive. It's also an afterthought. If Broly had recovered, no one could stop him. Only after asking the true spirit did he know that the other party was thrown into the abyss by the Realm King and should not be able to get out. Even if it came out, it appeared in the Realm King continent. Broly, who was like a beast, was thrown into the abyss, which was his final destination. If it wasn't for the backlash to put him to sleep, Broly would have fallen. After chatting with Jinling for a long time, Wu Li pulled over to drink, and then forgot everything. This unprecedented banquet lasted for a month. It was time for Dan Bao and Wu Li to say goodbye to them. The two of them played in Qishan Temple for several years, before they left reluctantly. Before leaving, Wu Li even persuaded him to go to the Realm King continent earlier. Because there is really exciting, there are a lot of strong. There are also many opportunities. Much more exciting than in the North Time and Space. Jian Wushuang just nodded. He hadn't thought about it yet. And the matter of the North Time and Space has not been finished yet. According to his original wishes, he was preparing to unify the Northern Time and Space. But I learned from Wu Li that it won't take long for the entire Northern Time and Space to condense into one. At that time, the entire Northern Time and Space will be improved as a whole. It also put his idea on hold for the time being. The current state is also good. Ready. There is no external competitive pressure, but the internal pressure is still not small. Otherwise, it would not be possible for a series of 7 lords of the 7 tribulations to be born one after another in millions of years. Among them are Xan Jiao and Gong Miaoya's son, Gong Ming. The top 10 gods of Qi Temple have all been in the 7 tribulations realm. No one has objected to this. With Dan Bao's departure, Jian Wushuang also calmed down. There was no rush for a while, and first, the source and divine body were restored to their peaks. After sleeping for 1,000,000 epochs, I don't want to go to practice again. He left Qishan Temple and went to wander in the wasteland. I went to Xiaosiyu and also to Tongtian Buddha Realm and Ji Chaoyang's hometown. The Ji family's dynasty is still there, and it's thriving. The beauty of the capital is really beautiful. When he had nothing to do, he entered the capital of the Ji family dynasty and played around like a mortal. After walking around, I walked into the palace. There was no way. He was looking for Lu Quan and walked over there. Passing through the gates, the guards acted as if they hadn't seen him. Actually can't see it. The harem. As he walked, he felt something was wrong. Actually came to the harem. When he was playing, he heard that the current emperor was 3,000 concubines in this harem. Thinking of this, a wicked smile appeared on Jian Wushuang's face. He walked in with small steps and humming a little song. Don't think too much, he's not here to play. Brat! In front of a rockery, there was a faint cry. Jian Wushuang hooked his head, came to a little girl and grimaced and said, "Little guy, if you cry again, I will take you away." "You! Take me away!" The little girl was tired from crying and panted. "My mother is gone anyway. No one wants me anyway." This little girl is not ordinary, but the little princess of Jis family. Has a very high status, but also has a tragic life experience. Her mother was just an ordinary concubine, but she was favored once by the current emperor, and she had her later. I was taken away by me, Jian Wushuang defended. Don't deceive people, it's my innocence. The little girl's words startled him. He only came in for a long time, but he didn't do such unbearable things. Putting his palm lightly on the little girl's head, Jian Wushuang understood in an instant. Turns out her mother had passed away. Died 3 months ago. It's not easy to live without the little princess who is my mother. The emperor of Jis family has 80,000 or 100,000 children. I don't know who gave birth to the little girl in front of me. How can I care about how my little daughter is doing? Without the protection of her mother, the little girl was bullied. Even the eunuchs and palace maids dared to bully her. Poor Jian Wushuang sighed. The sorrow of being born in an emperor's family. Chapter 6105 reminds him of someone. Jinshun. So does the other side. Willing to die later. Although I feel that the other party is stupid, there are also pitiful places. Little guy, I'll take you to find your mother. He wrapped the little girl with his mind power and threw it into a space. Whereas a cave world, it is easy for him to make a world at will. And there is some life in it. It's just that those beings are very weak, and the strongest is only at the level of Yanxian. Just here. He pointed and threw the little girl into a green jungle. Looking at the strange surroundings, the little girl was a little scared. After a long time, no one was seen, so he started crying again. After a while, the cry caused a young man who was collecting firewood, who put down the bundle of firewood he was carrying and hurried over. The boy was originally an orphan, and he also had a younger sister when he was young. But his family was poor and was abandoned in the mountains by his father. The mother died of depression. I don't know if my father got the retribution or because of bad luck. He fell into the river after getting drunk and drowned. Since then, the young man became an orphan and went to the mountains to collect firewood every day, just to find his abandoned sister. Unexpectedly this day he really found it. Jian Wushuang observed for a long time, and a smile appeared on his face. Little guy, see you in 10,000 years. The little girl with the blood of the Ji family will not be covered by the mundane. She will show off. But it takes time. Just this story very ordinary. Small people big pursuits. Jian Wushuang accepted the cave world and left the palace swayingly. A few years later, the Ji family's clan mansion discovered that there was one person missing. After a bit of investigation it didn't work out. Because no one cares about one person missing. The investigation is done according to the rules. It's just that they would not have thought that in a short time, there will be a great God-defying Daojun in the primordial universe. Jian Wushuang walks in the original universe, and his steps are getting bigger and bigger. Out of the original universe, into the long river of time and space, and casually look at the life in the long river of time and space. At the beginning, he had fantasized about this day, but he didn't expect to be able to do it so soon. He who masters time and space can look at any place in any time and space. Return. Jian Wushuang fiddled with his fingers, and time kept going backwards. A return is a million epochs. Back to the appearance of Qishan Temple from the middle dimension to the lower dimension. Behind the Qi Temple, there is a man in yellow robe. It is Wuxia. Back in time again. In the primitive universe, the first practitioner appeared. Before the first practitioner, there was a huge mortal age. There were no practitioners in that era, because the downstream time and space had not yet condensed the origin. The mortals who lived in that era showed fantastic ideas. A brilliant civilization has also been created. 1,000 years at a glance. Jian Wushuang was immersed in it, and watched for 10,000 years. Always see the evolution of life in the beginning. That is the beginning of all life. River. Jian Wushuang murmured. The first life in the downstream spacetime came from the flowing river of spacetime. Rice Ball Exploration book The Long River of Time and Space is the ultimate place from the upper reaches. If you have time in the future, be sure to take a look. After walking in the downstream time and space for tens of thousands of years, he returned to the Qishan Temple again. Now the interior of Qi Temple has been completely transformed by Zhenling and Wuxia. The attached halls were all demolished. Now only the 4 secret realms in the main hall are left. The 4 secret realms are also divided into levels and functions. The inheritors below Yanxian are in the secret realm of the human world, and the inheritors from Yanxian to the Emperor are in the realm of the earth. After reaching the Emperor, you are only eligible to be promoted to the heavenly realm. After completing special tasks in the Emperor, you can enter the tomb of the gods and go to the mountain of the tomb to become the true inheritor. In addition to the 4 secrets, the Sea of Origin of Qi God Temple is also completely open. Because Huiqing has mastered the way of heaven, the entire Sea of Origin has been expanded 10,000 times. Now, as long as he is the master of the universe, he can enter the Sea of Origin. In the past, according to the plan of the true spirit, only the Lord of God could enter. Everyone has a share now. The Sea of Origin also became lively. The master of the universe in the downstream spacetime has exceeded tens of thousands. Among them, there are more than 10 masters of the universe in the 7 tribulations realm. There are as many as 100 masters of the universe in the 6 tribulations realm. This has a huge relationship with the treasure brought back by Wuxia. Let the high-end combat power of Qi Temple take off ahead of schedule. But in Jian Wushuang's view, the background is still a little worse. In the upstream time and space, if you want to appear as the Lord of the 7 tribulations realm universe, you need tens of thousands of lords of the universe. That's because resources are limited. Now Wuxia is desperately filling the Qi Temple with treasures, and it will not form a good trend. Jian Wushuang came to the Sea of Origin this time, just to put forward some opinions of his own. Anyway, he has nothing to do. Cultivation matters have been put aside. As for going to the Realm King continent, it is also a matter after the 8 tribulations realm. Cosmic Sea, Everlasting Mountain. This mountain is a famous mountain in the Realm King continent, and it was secretly acquired by Wuxia. Power is comparable to an artifact. The name of the ancient mountain is also because this mountain was originally a treasure of a cosmic god. Later, which cosmic fell, became a wanderer, lost his origin, and his value was greatly reduced, so he was acquired by Wuxia for some reason. Now placed in the Universe Sea, as the core of the Universe Sea, the masters of the universe who settled in the Universe Sea entrusted the universe in the Universe Sea, and the law body also settled in the ancient mountain. As soon as Jian Wushuang came to the foot of the mountain, he met many masters of the universe. They came forward to say hello. Most of these people were unfamiliar faces, and he didn't stop, just nodded slightly, and walked towards the top of the mountain. The Lord of the Universe in the 3 tribulations realm only opened a cave at the foot of the mountain. Only the Lord of the 5 tribulations realm universe is qualified to be on the mountainside. Only the Lord of the 7 tribulations realm universe can settle on the top of the mountain. Jian Wushuang's cave dwelling is naturally on the top of the Jenga mountain. Now that they are in their identity, it seems a bit out of place to go to the Tomb Sacred Mountain to compete with the inheritors to grab the cave house. He also happily settled in this ancient mountain. When I came to the palace on the top of the mountain, I noticed Wuxia's Dharma body as soon as I moved, and entered the main hall directly. Wuxia in the hall looked busy, and was flipping through some scrolls. Seeing Jian Wushuang coming in, he said in surprise, "Brother Wushuang, what kind of wind is blowing you here?" "It's the deity who came." Generally, the deity appears in the ancient mountain, and they are all ready to cultivate. Usually everyone is busy. Some masters of the universe need to sit in some secret realms. Although the Qishan temple is not dangerous, some strange objects in the secret realm are not bad. The bigger reason is because I don't like to gather together. Just like Jian Wushuang, he likes to find a quiet place to practice alone. Therefore, on the ancient mountain, it is rare to encounter the deity of the Lord of the Universe, and most of them are Dharmakayas, and they usually discuss the Tao together, which is quite flavorful. Chapter 6106. I'm an idler without a place to stay, so I'll blow it with the wind. Jian Wushuang sneered at Wuxia, and he was right, he was an idler. After the threat was lifted, I felt that something was missing, so I wandered around all day. After hearing about it, Wuxia thought he wanted a place to stay, so he waved his pen and said, "Why, I like that place, I'll grab it for you." Anyway, he was shameless, and even went to grab the emperor's territory. Knowing that Jian Wuxia couldn't hold back his face, he prepared to be the bad guy himself. The Qixin Temple is full of talented people now, but the long river of time and space downstream is very small, and the barren land is very large, but there is no way to cultivate. In fact, compared with the middle reaches, it is not too small, but the territory occupied by each powerhouse is very large. Like some of the top powerhouses, if they were placed in the middle reaches of time and space, the Lord of the Universe would not be able to cover them. "Don't say it, I really have this idea, but I won't bother you." Jian Wuxia waved his hand to refuse. He came this time for the future planning of Qixin Temple. After all, he won't stay in Qixin Temple all the time and still want to leave. And before leaving, he hopes to bring Qixin Temple on the right path. "Just kidding me again. What am I? But I'm just laying hands on Lord Jinling." Wuxia said so. In fact, he was almost emptying his true spirit. Who doesn't know that now the real head of Qi Temple is Wuxia? Even the Shenghua couple couldn't compete with Wuxia alone. Among the top 10 gods, Jian Wuxia and Hui Qing are both hands-off shopkeepers and don't care at all. On the contrary, Wutian Daxing Demon Sect is almost becoming a public enemy now, but he can't compete with Wuxia for anything. "Okay, I'm not kidding you. I'm here today to talk about the future plans of the Qi Temple." Wuxia frowned and exclaimed, "The planning is not worth it. Who can compete with us in the entire northern time and space? And when the barrier disappears, we will win the middle and upstream time and space." The words are very full, but they are not bragging, but have that strength and confidence. But Jian Wuxia doesn't see it that way. If you use force to press people, you must also come up with the background. It can't be like today. They come forward to oppress, and let the following small get the benefits and be obedient, and they will be backlashed after all. When they are gone, who will protect Qi Temple? So Jian Wuxia is going to leave his own way, open the gate, and accept his disciples. Leave what you have learned and inherited. It's not the real internal competition of Wuxia, but the real inheritance. Brother Wuxia, to put it simply, I want you all to leave your own way. After all, the northern time and space is just a dream for us. If we don't stay for a long time, we will lose ourselves. He expressed his thoughts. Back then I also feel that after the war, it is also very good to become one of the ancestors. But these days I have been walking around the world, but I have changed my mind. Over the years, he has seen prosperity and serenity, as well as filth and ugliness. This situation is not what he wants. Just like the little girl he took away from Jis' house. If it wasn't for his presence, it would have been a waste of talent. This is a loss. The loss of Qi Temple, the loss of the North Dimension. So he wants to change. The strong are respected. Then follow through. Come to a huge trial to screen the strong. Give them a sense of oppression, not the current solidified state. Crazy, crazy. Wuxia shook his head as he listened. Wuxia, it's okay to leave the inheritor, and it's normal for us to leave in the future. But this kind of trial consumes too many treasures. You've been asleep for 1,000,000 epochs. You don't know, but I owe it to the upstream time and space. A large amount of treasure has been acquired, and now the debt collectors are almost blocking the door. He understood Jian Wuxia's intention, and he knew that it was right. Where do you get the treasure from? At present, Qixin Temple cultivates inheritors, all of which are descendants of major powerhouses. The probability of powerhouses appearing is also high, and the number can be controlled, so there is no pressure on resources. But if the trial screening is open, where do you get the treasures you need? The treasures of the Qi Temple have long been hollowed out by Jinling, and Wuxia paid for it himself. I have the power of life. Jian Wuxia heard it, but he just thought that the secret method of resurrection had spread, and the power of life was instantly devalued. The value has shrunk 10,000 times. Right now, the power of life was only used for repair during battles. He took out too much and couldn't sell it. Thinking of this, he also felt that he was a little idealized. After thinking about it, I thought of a countermeasure. Then start screening from Yanxian. We each select disciples and set up a trial before joining the path. Whose disciple is eliminated will be responsible for the treasures needed by Qishan Temple. How? This proposal made Wuxia's eyes light up. This is what he has done over the years, and he naturally has confidence in himself. Then see how many people see it. To teach disciples, and to compete in the time of Daojun. This has nothing to do with the Master's combat power. The Lord of the Seven Tribulations Realm Universe is simply overkill to teach a group of Yanxian. But with the colorful head proposed by Jian Wushuang, he is more conscious. Immediately, Wuxia found the true spirit, and the three of them planned together for a long time. Calm finally made the final call. Jinling personally pulled the strings and called the 10 major gods, as well as the hall masters of the 4 halls, as well as the elders of the divided Yuanyang Palace. Those elders were originally the hall masters of Yuanyang Palace, but after they became the masters of the Seven Tribulations Realm Universe, they established their own sects, and were taken out by the true spirit. You can't let one family be the big one, or it will be meaningless. In the Qishan Temple, all the 18 masters of the Seven Tribulations Realm Universe are here. Of course, except for Jian Wushuang, they are all Dharma bodies. Leave your own way. Jinling looked at everyone, and then said, Everyone, now the external development of Qishan Temple has come to an end, and the barriers of the middle and lower reaches have not been opened, but you can't slack off. You must consider for the future, and leave your own inheritance, so that you can use it from time to time. Need this. Many people whispered and felt that this matter was open to discussion. Don't ruin your previous efforts just because of a momentary impulse. At least the current Qi temple is stable, and if it changes, it will fall into a quagmire again. But they didn't realize that they had already entered a comfort zone, which was a bigger quagmire. And what they are doing now is to establish a sect, which is no different from what Jinling said. I know what you are going to say. You are indeed the founder of a sect and have your own disciples. But ask yourself, is that considered a personal inheritance? The true spirit speaks sharply. In fact, the words are a bit ugly. The disciples they accept are all wine bags and rice bags, just to help them deal with all kinds of trivial matters. Are there any sincere disciples? I also made it clear that at present, the resources of Qishan Temple are limited. This time, I will leave the inheritance, not only to screen the disciples, but also to screen you. If anyone loses, they will make up for the deficit of Qishan Temple. I don't care about you. No matter what method you use, even if you rob it, you have to make it up for me. Chapter 6107. Seeing such a serious true spirit, everyone looked sideways, and they all became serious. The deficit of the Qishan Temple today is a huge number. The downstream spacetime has the weakest heritage and the least resources. If it weren't for the treasures Wuxia got from the upper reaches of time and space, how could the Qi Temple be expanded to the current appearance? To curb this boom and bust, we must first start with internal cleaning, leaving the inheritance, selecting the real monks, and cultivating them to become the pillars of the future of Qishan Temple. To put it bluntly, let them fight in the future. Jian Wushuang and others will not stay in the northern time and space for long. This matter I took it. Wuxian took the lead in answering. He is quite reliable among the crowd. There are also many disciples who have obtained his inheritance, but it is not the true inheritance. But he knows the best way to teach his disciples. Under his door there are already disciples of the Lord of the Universe. He doesn't feel like he's going to lose to anyone else. He'll take it too. Dongsheng and Wanyan agreed in unison. Wuxia and Jian Wushuang were the initiators, so naturally they raised their hands without hesitation. Good. Huiqing folded his hands together. He has no intention of cultivating deeply these days, just to pass the time. Ever since he learned from Danbao that practitioners who have lost their souls can be resurrected, he has thought about going to the Realm King continent. It's just that the time has not yet come, and he is just like Jian Wushuang, wandering around in the northern time and space. Wait for that moment. Before Danbao left, he had already told them. It didn't take long for the northern time and space to be able to give birth to the 9 tribulations realm. That's when they left. Since there is no problem, I will tell you the rules. In 10,000 years, I will get a batch of Yinxian to enter the Qi temple for trial. When that time comes, everyone will choose disciples together. There is no limit to the number of disciples. After receiving them as direct disciples, teach them individually. In an era, start the competition and decide the top 10. Whoever does not make it into the top 10 will be the one who will take care of the Qi temple's deficit. As soon as Zinling's words were finished, everyone nodded, thinking it was quite reliable. Top 10. Jian Wushuang did not forget to add. Remind you all, it is very likely that the top 10 will be occupied by one person. 10,000 years later, they recruited at least dozens of disciples. Those who can enter their eyes are at least the seedlings of the ultimate way, might be able to rush into the top 10. By then the other 17 would be embarrassed. After everyone heard it, they all took a deep breath. This time, the interests at stake are great, but it cannot be sloppy. At least one disciple must be in the top 10. Originally, everyone finally gathered together, to discuss the Tao. But with this pressure, after the announcement they left in a hurry. Start to prepare some treasures from Yinxian to Dianxian. And by the way, organize your own inheritance. From Yinxian to Dijuan, at least they have to come out. Then there is the Lord of the Universe. Jian Wushuang also left with everyone. This matter was brought up by him. If he didn't teach it well, it would be a shame. Treasures are not in a hurry. The key is his way. When he was a Daojun, he majored in Jaido and Kendo. It can be said that everyone knows a thing or two. But the best thing is Kendo. Ji Dao, apart from himself, did not see a second person mastering it. So he can only choose Kendo Tianjiao. Then you have to sort out your own swordsmanship and create some magical powers and unique skills that are more suitable for Yinxian. Under the Emperor, or under the robbery, the origin is still the main source. There are very few divine practitioners. That's because divine treasures are scarce, and they have high demands on themselves. After returning to his cave, he picked up the pen and began to write. From Yinxian to the Emperor's Kendo skills, as well as supernatural powers. Starry Sky Catalog. This is his strongest secret method so far. He is going to stay, but he doesn't know if anyone can successfully accept the inheritance. As for Yangxian's unique skills to the Emperor, he just left a simple inheritance. It can't be passed on lightly, let alone passed on dead. If the latter is not suitable, it still needs to be changed. Star Sword Intent. The beginning of the Kendo space is also the beginning of the Emperor. If you can integrate this sword intent, it means that you have the power of the Emperor. But that's simply not enough. When he was in Daojun, killing the top was like cutting vegetables. Xinghe Sword Intent. This sword intent after fusion can be comparable to the peak of the Third Order Emperor. Then continue to write Xinghe Lake Sea. This is the sword technique he created at the beginning, but now it has been improved, and it is different from before. It was only when he cast it that he became immortal. It has now risen to the level of an emperor. Stars Xinghe Xinghu Xinghai. 4 sword intents, from ordinary emperors to peak emperors. It can integrate and penetrate, and can fight the 6th Order Emperor. Almost enough, he sighed. The complete Starry Sky catalog is also collected one by one. After a pause, he picked up the pen again. The Starry Sky catalog is too difficult. He is afraid that no one can inherit it. Then he left a concise version of the Starry Sky catalog. Cosmic Map, Spacetime Map, Star Map. The 3 catalogs represent the 3 roads. If the universe map can be cultivated to perfection, it can become a perfect powerhouse of the 8 tribulations realm. Akanshu. The time-space map reaches perfection and can become an eternal existence. Starry Sky catalog, but there is no upper limit. He does not use the super-eternal transformation, but can also kill the eternal existence by using the Starry Sky catalog. Carefully collect the 3 catalogs, and the time in the outside world has also passed 10,000 years. It only took an hour to improve the Xinghe Lake Sea, but it took him thousands of years to improve the Star catalog. As for the divine power and the secret method, it still depends on the disciples. Walking out of the cave, it was extremely lively on the ancient mountain that day. In the past 10,000 years, the trials have all spread. Many big families, especially the family of the Lord of the Universe, are desperately cultivating Yanxian, and then stuffing them into true spirit. Originally thought to be fair, and select from the entire downstream time and space. No way, this is the stall is too big. Those old subordinates of Jinling, 3 or 5 good words made Jinling speak. Jian Wushuang just sighed at this. No way, birth decides everything. However, this trial has also greatly improved the Yanxian of the entire downstream spacetime. In addition to the families of the Cosmos Masters, there are also some sects who have also cultivated a large number of Yanxian after hearing about it. Just for this chance. 17 Masters of the 7 Tribulations Realm Universe, plus 1 Master of the 8 Tribulations Realm Universe, openly accept disciples. Not to mention the downstream time and space. Even the upstream time and space will cause vibrations. What's more, all the top powerhouses in the downstream time and space have taken action. Thousands of years have come. The crowd gathered. The goal is a cave world in the Qi Temple, which is personally refined by the true spirit, which can accommodate emperors, and is enough for the trial of immortals. Except for the arrogance of the family and the sect, I captured the rest myself. You can rest assured. Jinling smiled at the plundered Yanxian. Chapter 6108. This trial is no better than before. At least not losing lives. In this regard, Jinling has personally mobilized tens of thousands of emperors to enter, and anyone who has a breath can be rescued, and it is no wonder that others have fallen. Master Jinling is doing things, so I can rest assured. Wuxia did not forget to compliment him, because he himself also competed with others. Over the past 10,000 years, not everyone has honestly prepared secret techniques like Jian Wushuang. Many people are secretly cultivating Yanxian, and then throw them into the proving ground, and finally let them choose themselves. In fact, Jian Wushuang also has a candidate, currently in his cave. It was the little girl he took away from Jis' house. By the way, the rules of this trial are very simple. I did some calculations. There were also Yanxian sent over, a total of 1 billion, and they fought each other. In the end, 1,000 people were left to fight in the arena, and the ranking was determined. The rest is up to you. The rules set by the true spirit are also very simple. The last 1,000 Yanxians are ranked for their reference. There is one thing that makes people feel a little uncomfortable. That is, they become selected. Let those Yanxians choose their own masters. It depends on their personal charm and means. If the people who put in it are in the top 1,000, they will naturally worship themselves as teachers. No need to be picked. Since there are no comments, let's go. The true spirit got up and tore the space, and took everyone directly into the cave. However, all they entered were the Dharma body. Otherwise this cave sky would be shattered. The whole cave looks like a landscape, which is very suitable for mortals to live in. This viewing platform is specially built for you. The real spirit pointed to a huge square. At this time, hundreds of thousands of strong people were already seated, and all those who came were Dharmakaya. In the center of the square, in addition to the huge sky, there are millions of Yanxian. Don't look at it. This is the arrogance of those families and sections. I didn't expect to get so many at once. In addition to the thousands of real spirits, who have chosen thousands of people, they have really collected 1 billion. However, those who master the ultimate way are not even 1/10,000. Even among those geniuses, there are very few. Congratulations to God Lord, Jian Wushuang, and the others were at the top, and many of the powerhouses below came to compliment, apparently wanting them to open the back door. But this time, the stakes are very big, and no one will be sloppy, all with a straight face. It is a reminder to them not to fish in troubled waters. Those powerhouses are also very sensible, seeing that the gods and palace masters are all serious. Naturally they dare not say anything, and they all return to their positions. Just after returning, he began to transmit voice to those younger generation Tianjiao. Wan Shan, don't live up to the expectations of the family, rush into the top 1,000, and restore my Wan family to its former glory. Don't forget the ancestral teachings, and don't forget the ancestor Wanxing. Now he is the master of the Four Tribulations realm universe. At the end of the war, Zhenling didn't say anything, but he actually did a lot to the families of some fallen powerhouses. There is a lot of inclination and resources, and even out of pocket. In addition to the Wan family, there is also the Ji family. Ji Yi Ji Hao, rush into the top 1,000, you will become the pride of the family. JIS ancestor looked at the two superiors in the JIS Tianjiao and leaked his expectations. At the same time, many super families are explaining to their descendants. Even the 9th Lord Gong Ming, let the younger generation of the family participate. Gong Ping, remember your three-footed sword, for whom do you practice? This voice entered the ears of an unknown sword-carrying teenager in the square. After hearing this sentence, the teenager's expression was shocked. His three-footed sword was made by his ancestors. It is the 9th Lord of Qi Temple. The sound transmission just now was the rumored ancestor. He was originally calm, but after hearing these words of encouragement, he also revealed an excited look. The arrogance below, after hearing the voice transmission of the ancestors or elders of the family, their morale is high. Jian Wushuang does not have a junior, so this link is naturally missing. But in his cave world, it was another scene. On top of the mountain, a white-haired devil was beheaded with a sword, and blood was spilled on the spot. The person who came out of the sword was a young girl. Her eyes were cold, and she was dressed in white. There was another person behind the girl. With his arms around his chest and a long sword in his arms, he looked arrogant, but he spoke highly of the girl. Old demon is a Dayan immortal. You can kill with one sword. It seems that this time, Master will take you away. Why do you say that, senior brother? You also beheaded a Dayan immortal. The girl turned to look at the man. Her expression did not change, and her face was still cold. Burning text, why is the junior sister always cold? The master will take the two of us out of this world soon. Why not be happy? The arrogant man has an arrogant expression to everyone, but only has a different personality towards this girl. The girl did not change herself because of this. She still said coldly, "It has nothing to do with you." Leaving this sentence behind, he walked down the mountain. Is it because of your useless brother? The arrogant man smiled disdainfully. Even the master can't help him. I think you'd better give up. And he doesn't seem to be blood relatives with you. Why be so persistent? We are all immortals. Swish. The cold sword was unsheathed in an instant. The tip of the sword was only a sliver away from the neck of the arrogant man. The person who drew the sword was naturally the girl. There was anger in her eyes, and she said word by word, "In front of me, you don't deserve to mention him." The voice fell, and the divine sword returned to its sheath. The girl just left. The arrogant brain wiped his neck, snorted coldly, and secretly said in his heart, "It's really stupid to be so concerned about a waste. Wait, after I go out, I will surpass you then." He let out a wicked smile. Everything here was seen by Jian Wushuang. It smells like Jiangshang. With a wry smile, he turned around and came to the wooden house at the foot of the mountain. The girl just now was the little girl he took away from JIS house. And now she is Yanxian. To say that the layout is the longest, who can be longer than him? The time here has been changed by him. The outside world is only tens of thousands of years, but 100,000 years have passed here. About 3 or 4 times slower. And she also found a teacher specially for her. Her master is not an outsider either. Brother Lu Hua, you've worked hard this time. In the wooden house, Jian Wushuang and Lu Hua sat facing each other. The master he was looking for was the original palace master of Yuanyang Palace. Wu's was life and death brother. You're welcome, it's just a Dharma body. I was curious about why I was asked to teach it at the beginning. It turns out that you already have a plan. Lu Hua chuckled lightly. When Jian Wushuang looked for him at first, he thought that Jian Wushuang wanted to use this incident to give him treasures. Chapter 6109. Unexpectedly, after such a long period of time, Qishan Temple held another trial, and it was the most peak group of people in Qishan Temple to accept disciples to preach. Originally, he planned to get a batch of Yanxian to send in himself, but then he thought about his current figure. In the Qi Temple, he was not ranked at all, and he had no family power, and there was no errand in the Qi Temple. Without power, what is the use of cultivating Yanxian? In fact, he can completely rely on Wuxia, but he doesn't have the thick skin of Wuxia, so he can't hold back his face. At the beginning, Wuxia worked under him. Now it was his turn. He couldn't let go of that figure, so he found a clean place in Xiaosiji in the wasteland to clean up. If Jian Wushuang had not personally invited him, he would not have come out. And this kind of thing is very meaningful to him. He knew that Jian Wushuang wanted to cultivate disciples, and he would not forget him when he made great achievements in the future. Why not do it? It is indeed a good thing. Otherwise Jian Wushuang would not have looked for Lu Hua. The original Emperor Lu Hua helped him a lot. Moreover, he and Wuxia also cheated Emperor Lu Hua once. And it was Emperor Lu Hua who was the first to lose the throne of the palace lord. This is also compensation. When the two were talking about the old days, a cold voice came from outside the door. Master. Hearing the voice, Lu Hua smiled and said, Ji Tang coming quickly. Squeak. The wooden door was pushed open. It was the girl who killed the white-haired old demon, with one sword on the mountain. She is also the little princess of the Ji family dynasty. Entering the house, Ji Tang saw Jian Wushuang, but at a glance she realized that Jian Wushuang was not simple. The whole person is reserved and restrained. Sword eyebrows and star eyes. The whole person is like a divine sword ready to go. In addition to these, there are some vague memories. In the vague memory, she seemed to have seen each other. Can Ji Tang still recognize the senior? Lu Hua got up and introduced. If it wasn't for him, you and I wouldn't have this fate. Jian Wushuang made a grimace, stood up and smiled lightly. Little girl, long time no see. It's you. Ji Tang looked happy and said excitedly, You brought me here in the first place? Although the memory was vague, she always remembered that there was a man with a sword on his back who made a grimace and threw him into the forest. It was later picked up by my brother. That's right, it's me. Jian Wushuang nodded and said, Now that you are successful in your studies, do you want to go out and see? Hearing this, Ji Tang showed hesitation. Don't hesitate, he can help you with your brother's business. In fact, Emperor Lu Hua could do it, but Jian Wushuang suppressed it. In fact, Jian Wushuang's original intention was not as simple as cultivating a Ji Tang and the other's brother. He refined this cave because of that young man. Later, he found out that Ji Tang's character was very suitable for practicing swordsmanship, so he threw the other party in as well. Shenjian. Which young man is the one with the atmosphere? He is also the most promising candidate for inheriting the Jian Wushuang Starry Sky catalog. The worst can also inherit the space-time catalog. The Starry Sky catalog is still too difficult, at least to master the power of the Starry Sky. This stumped almost everyone. The first 5 swords of the Starry Sky catalog can be set as long as you master the power of the Starry Sky. But want 9 swords? Not to mention other people. Even Jian Wushuang can't do it. When he merged with Hui Qing, he only reached the 6th sword. At that time, his combat power had reached the level of a cosmic god. The universe god cast the 6th sword. When the 9 swords come out, what kind of strength do you need? And if you want to cultivate to the 9th sword, you must at least have the origin of the Starry Sky. No one can do this except him. But there is hope that completing the first 5 swords is enough to keep the entire northern time and space under constant pressure. Your brother Shenjian will also leave with you. This time, he came in person to take Shenjian and Ji Tang away together. But there is one more thing to do before leaving. Ji Tang's eyes turned red when he heard that his brother could go out together and heal the injury. For tens of thousands of years, she has been searching for an antidote to save her brother. Let's go. Lu Hua raised his finger to the outside and said, Yan Shuang is back too. Yan Shuang, the arrogant man. In fact, Jian Wushuang asked Lu Hua to arrange this, just to temper Shenjian. When Shenjian was poisoned, it was Yan Shuang who had dried up. It cannot be said that it is not directly related to Jian Wushuang, only that it is inextricably linked. After leaving the wooden house, I happened to meet Yin Shuang, who was returning. Yin Shuang retreated in fright when she saw Jian Wushuang. He will never forget that face in his life. Demon, devil. Jian Wushuang, however, let out a smile and said, Yin Shuang, now is the time for you to dedicate yourself. He didn't pay much attention to Shen Jian and Ji Tang, but for Yin Shuang, he made a lot of effort. This was a test for Shen Jian. After that, the carp turns into a dragon. But even if it's invincible, then he will also give Yin Shuang a chance. And don't say who he favors. Yin Shuang must not be rude. Lu Hua knew that this was Jian Wushuang's plan and stared. I specially invited this senior to take you out of this world. Is not here yet. Yin Shuang heard the words, and hurriedly went up to meet him and said, I have seen senior. But his eyes were dodging, as if he had done something wrong. Jian Wushuang stood aside with a harmless appearance, which was different from what he had seen. Only Jian Wushuang and Lu Hua knew Yin Shuang's identity. In the mundane period, it was a child raised by a bandit who burned, killed, and looted since childhood. Later, he was picked by Jian Wushuang, sent to Lu Hua, and played a big devil, holding Yin Shuang's handle all the time. He was the one who provoked Shen Jian's plot against Shen Jian at the beginning. However, he also has Yin Shuang's selfishness. He is very eager to get Ji Tang, but he can also see that Ji Tang has no interest in him at all, so he hates Shen Jian deeply. There is also a conspiracy of mind. Jian Wushuang gave some guidance again, and then there was the next thing. It gave Shen Jian the opportunity to hone, and also gave Ji Tang the motivation to continue to surpass. Kill two birds with one stone. Lu Hua took the three people around the wooden house to a cave in the back mountain, where is the place where Shen Jian healed his wounds. In order not to let Ji Tang know his arrangement, this time he chose to train hard. The four stood outside the cave. Jian Wushuang just clicked his finger, and a dark red light entered the cave. Just an instant. When Shen Jian, who was originally weak and powerless, appeared at the entrance of the cave again, he was in high spirits and his temples were flying like a fairy. Wrong. Yanxian has been achieved. And behind him, there is a broken sword on his back. As for Yin Shuang, her eyes were blank and she stopped at the same place. And there was no movement at all. The soul of the other party has been pulled away by Jian Wushuang and sent to the original universe for reincarnation. The mental test is quick for them. Chapter 61:10. Just for a moment, nothing was seen, and it was over. But to Shen Jian, tens of thousands of years had passed. In the fantasy, he saw Yin Shuang and Ji Tang getting married, and he was powerless to stop it. Later, he found out that his poison was framed by Yin Shuang. But at that time Ji Tang had already given birth to a son and a daughter to Yin Shuang. He had no intention of taking revenge, and was depressed and unhappy all day. Later he came across a painting, picked up a short sword, riding a skinny horse, started looking for the place in the painting, where he met Jian Wushuang. After completing his studies, he exposed Yin Shuang's ugly face, and set a challenge. Scenes in the illusion flashed before Shen Jian's eyes. Very real. So much so that there were tears in the corners of his eyes. Master. This time, Shen Jian knelt down to Jian Wushuang. Shen Jian, remember, the sword must face the heart. Jian Wushuang clenched his fist and tapped lightly on his chest, praising. This time you did a good job. Ji Tang didn't know what happened. Just as he was about to speak, he was embraced by Shen Jian, and he didn't let go for a long time. As for Yin Shuang, from the beginning to the end, she stood there with her eyes blank. Only Jian Wushuang cares about his life and death. And now he is refining the body of the other party's reincarnation. Although he made a whetstone for others, Jian Wushuang did not treat him badly. A big family reincarnated in the original universe will also achieve something in the future. But he has wiped the other party's memory. This memory can also be regarded as the black history of Jian Wushuang. And naturally it must be erased. Give you a stick of incense, prepare well, and go out later. But there is still a big battle waiting for you. Jian Wushuang reminded, and took Lu Hua away from the back mountain. Go back to the wooden house, and wait for the two to say goodbye here. As long as the two can enter the top 1,000, this cave world can give them in and out. Since I don't have anything to do with me, I'll leave first just to go to the outside world to watch this trial. Lu Hua got up and said goodbye. Jian Wushuang asked, "Aren't you going to say goodbye? There will be another chance to meet in the future. It is the easiest thing for you and me to spend a long time." Lu Hua was quite enlightened to see through everything in the world. After speaking, he dissipated on his own and returned to the deity. Kill time. Fighting against Jian Wushuang is not an easy task. When he saw Shen Jian, he had the desire to cultivate. When everything is done, it is time to retreat and attack the 8 Tribulations realm. And there was one more thing he didn't do. That is the beast soldier. Just one more piece to come. According to his original idea, he was preparing to collect the divine beast soldiers when he went to the Realm King continent. But he didn't know where the last one was. I asked the Realm King, and the other party couldn't find it. That means it is not in the northern time and space, or entered the abyss of the end of the tour. If you really go into the abyss, you won't be able to find it. There is also a small chance of entering the king's continent. It depends on his luck. The time for a stick of incense quickly passed. Shen Jian and Ji Tang arrived on time. The 2 tokens are put away, and there are all the things you think of on them. He threw out 2 tokens at will. It is a trial token refined by true spirit. Regarding the trial, there is also an introduction to the Qi Shrine. Of course, he also added a lot. It is information about Ji Tang's identity. Remember, don't force it. Jian Wushuang explained one last time. Ji Tang and Shen Jian each nodded. However, there are a lot of colors in his eyes. That is the yearning for the big world. Jian Wushuang is most familiar with this feeling. This is always the case every time I receive something new. If he knew the Realm King, he couldn't leave the northern dimension. After obtaining the Realm King's order, I am afraid that it is similar to the 2 of them. This is what he lacks now. Power. Travel to another world power. Whoa. After taking a deep look, he tore apart the space, wrapped the 2 with his mind power, and disappeared in this cave world. Go to a bigger and more mysterious world for Shen Jian and Ji Tang. There are also places that make Ji Tang sad. In her token, Jian Wushuang told her mother in detail why her mother died. That's what motivates him. When it reappeared, Jian Wushuang had disappeared, and Shen Jian and Ji Tang appeared in the square. Except for Jian Wushuang and Jimling, no one knows their identities. Swish! Consciousness returned to the deity. Jian Wushuang turned his head and nodded towards the true spirit. Ready to start. If he hadn't delayed for a while, the trial would have started long ago. The true spirit took a deep breath and shouted loudly like a bell. The trial officially begins now, and the teleportation will begin after 3 breaths. In addition to the Tianjiao in the square, the plundered Yinxian from the outside world also heard the voice of the true spirit. The billion Yinxian who received the token has long understood what to face next. No one is afraid. Some are just fighting. Whether it is the arrogance of the sect family, or the outstanding people who have been plundered, they are not afraid of fighting. Teleport. True spirit's thought force moved. 1 billion Yinxian instantly arrived in a canyon in the trial world. SHHHH. 1 billion Yinxian was gathered together. Just stunned for a moment, the cry of killing shattered the entire canyon. On the viewing platform, many people secretly scolded Jimling for being too keen. As a result, many extremely talented Yinxian are likely to be besieged. This is the loss of fairness. Especially the arrogance of those families, all treasures soaring to the sky. At first glance, they are carrying strange treasures, and they are definitely the targets of siege. Many Tianjiao and Yinxian fell into the contact battle. Most of them are the arrogance of the major families. Directly besieged by tens of thousands of Yinxian, the treasures were all shattered. If he hadn't actively shouted to give up being rescued by the emperor, he would definitely have fallen. After giving up, the token also fell. Seeing the token, the battle goes on. From the initial contact battle to the subsequent battle for tokens, there has been no end. There are also some lucky ones. who have long since taken the opportunity to slip away on the edge of the valley. Among them are Xinjian and Jitang. Although he has the will to fight to the sky, the feeling of being besieged by others is not good. Moreover, the two of them are too lazy to do things like collecting tokens. It's better to wait for others to collect almost, and then go out to find those super geniuses. A happy battle last time. The battle in the canyon lasted for several months, before it gradually calmed down. There are fewer and fewer people. Everyone knows that fighting in the canyon will not give full play to the advantages. But there are also those who can kill the quartet. For example, the super genius of Wuxia. One person shakes 10,000 immortals. Just one person defeated hundreds of thousands of Yanxian, currently ranked first. This makes Wuxia Patriarch extremely proud. I feel that this junior has not been cultivated in vain. The displayed combat power has indeed caused many Cosmos Masters to reveal their amazed eyes. With such combat power and talent, even if there is no such trial, he can still apprentice to the Lord of the Universe. Chapter 61:11. But because of this trial, more Tianjia will rise. There will also be many such superheroes. During the first 3 years of the trial, the battle was the most intense. But the viewing is also relatively low. It seems intense, but it is also inferior. There is no place for too much eyes. Jian Wushuang's thoughts are scattered, but he has a goal in his heart. He also has good people. In addition to Shen Jian and Ji Tang, there are several little guys who use swords, and their talents are very good. It is much stronger than when he was in Yanxian, and even some Yangxians have cultivated the ultimate way to the Mahayana realm, which is already comparable to ordinary Daojun. Among the top group, Jian Wushuang only saw one person, a girl who mastered the moon sword. Now it has defeated 1,000,000 Yanxian. Getting into the top 1,000 is a sure thing. Although on average, as long as you collect 1,000,000 tokens, you can enter the top 1,000. But among these immortals, the most inferior in the outside world are the best, and many of them are geniuses in one world or the universe. How can they stop because they have enough tokens? And before entering the trial, the ancestors of the family, or the elders of the sect have all explained. Collecting tokens is only the first step. The most important thing is to be bright. Let the big guys on the stage remember themselves. That counts as success. TSK. The number 1 Wanshan has collected tens of millions of tokens. And now there are still hundreds of thousands of surviving testers in this Fangdongshan. And the distance of 1,000 people is coming soon. Do you think he can finally collect hundreds of millions of tokens? Junling saw that everyone was a little bored, so he talked about the strongest tester in this trial. Wanshan's performance, in fact, in the eyes of Jian Wushuang and others, is not dazzling, because Wanshan has cultivated his ultimate way to the Mahayana realm. Although he is Yanxian, his own Dao is very close to Daojun. In such a state, dealing with those trialists who have just mastered the ultimate way is to crush. Hundreds of millions of tokens are not difficult for Wanshan. The hard part is how to hunt down those testers who escaped. His strength is really good. Hundreds of millions of tokens can be collected as long as there is enough time. However, his way is a bit special. He is said to be the ultimate way, but he does not have the kind of cohesion. Wandao opened, and it is more stable than the original Wanxing, one step at a time, walking fast and walking steadily. Wuxia commented indifferently that although Wanshan's strength was good, it was not suitable for him. In the eyes of these people, being fast and steady is just the foundation. What I really want is a pure heart. For example, the Ji Yi of the Ji family can only rank in the top 20 in strength among the testers. But her Taoism is extremely complete. But Yanxian can maintain her original intention and not be disturbed by the outside world. Many people have cast admiring glances at this Jijia Tianjiao. The same is true for Jian Wushuang. But unfortunately the opponent's sword is not the same as his Tao. If you really want to choose, it depends on the pursuit of the Tao. Otherwise, bringing it to him would be a waste of the opponent's talent. Brother Wuxia said that, "This Wanshan is quite suitable for me to go to the door." Shang Wenyan smiled. and he practiced steadily. He was the first ultimate emperor of the original universe, the first catastrophe in the entire downstream spacetime, and the first master of the universe. Walk fast and walk steadily. It was him. Don't look at being surpassed by Jian Wushuang and others now. But over the years, his strength has been approaching Wu Zua and others. It is not far from the Eight Tribulations realm. Never stopped. It also made Wu Zua and others feel a little nervous. Those who went to the upstream time and space were all the inheritors of the Realm King, or the opportunities given them were far from comparable to Shang. But now Shang is gradually catching up. It was a response to what Wu Zua said at the beginning. People who go to the upstream time and space are not as good as the merchants who stick to the Qi temple. And it is shameful to say it. Now it is also the first time that Shang took the initiative to throw an olive branch to the testers. People are not hiding and tucking away. They all said what they liked. Before it was time to pick, they were already arguing. They're all robbing people. Even Hui Qing, who has always been honest and mild-tempered, blushed and had a thick neck. Because this time, he also has someone he likes. It is a golden body arhat, from the world of Tongtian Buddha. Although there is no Tongtian Buddha in the current Tongtian Buddha realm, but the boundless Buddha at the time has become the master of the universe in the Five Kalpas realm. Now he is the first Buddha Lord of Tongtian Buddha realm. Hui Qing walked the way of heaven, and only kept the Buddha body. Tongtian Buddha incarnates the heavenless demon lord. In the end, the infinite Buddha one. When the Tongtian Buddha realm, and also when the Tongtian Buddha. This arhat is not the way of heaven, and his temper is not very good. If you don't understand it, it is the world-honored Ksitigarbha. You are not the same as you at all. Why don't you give it to me? It is Wu Tian who is competing with Hui Qing. He felt that the golden body of Arhat had a demon in his heart. It is more suitable to fall into the endless hell. Hui Qing took a deep breath, did not give in at all, and said firmly, "He will choose me. The devil can be eliminated." This remark made Wu Tian speechless. In fact, at their level, there is no longer any distinction between righteous and demons. The crowd quarreled for a long time. Didn't come up with a result. In the end, it still depends on how those testers choose. He simply stopped arguing and began to think about how to prescribe the right medicine. Well, Wu Zua turned his head and glanced at Jian Wushuang, and found that Jian Wushuang had not spoken from the beginning to the end, and asked a little curiously, "Brother Wushuang, don't you miss any of them?" Wu Zua's words also attracted the attention of others, and they all looked at Jian Wushuang. Only then did I realize that Jian Wushuang had never spoken. "You may not like the ones I like. The only Xieyue that compares two eyes is also reserved by you." Jian Wushuang smiled bitterly. There are actually many things in his heart. Seeing that each of those Yanxian is stronger than himself at the beginning, suddenly times have changed. Just like those immortals in the upstream time and space. When I went there, I was also taken aback, and in the blink of an eye, the downstream time and space also caught up with the upstream time and space at the level of Yanxian. Next, they will cultivate more powerful Daijins to catch up with the upstream time and space. Even the Emperor has caught up with the pace of the upstream time and space. That's what he's going to do. Therefore, they have too much pursuit for the choice of apprentices. Even if you lose, it doesn't matter if you go to get the treasure. Just treat it as a good deed, and leave something for the Qishan temple. I went to the Realm King continent, and I don't know when I want to come back. They don't even know about Zamas. More pressure is behind it. Just like the testers. The current trial is just the beginning. The bigger tests are in the back. Everyone felt that something was wrong with him today, but they couldn't understand why. In the trial world, the battle continues. The performances of Jitang and Xinjian are not outstanding. Chapter 61:12. Despite Lu Hua's teachings, compared with the arrogance of the Cosmos Master family, they have already lost a lot in the initial stage. Neither of them are in the top 10,000. One thing is important. That is, they grow faster in battle. Coming out of a small world, he quickly followed the pace of those geniuses. Even in the talent of fighting, it surpassed the opponent. That's where it's worth paying attention. It's a pity that Wuxia and the others couldn't see these small details. There is no clear standard for the trial time. 100 years have passed in the blink of an eye. Hundreds of thousands of yen, once again reduced by 100 times. Today there are only a few thousand. Jitang and Xinjian are still there. Still inconspicuous people. But no matter how inconspicuous, there are only a few thousand people left at this time. And they are also being targeted by some cosmos masters. Jitang, especially the head of the Ji family. Only then did he realize that Jitang had the blood of the Ji family in his body. However, compared with Ji Yi and Ji Hao, it is still a lot worse. But to be able to persevere until now, it definitely has a talent beyond ordinary people. Even if he can't make it into the top 1,000 this time, he will bring Jitang back to the family to focus on training. It's just that he asked around, and all the side branches of the family didn't know that there was such a person. It's not a side branch, it's not a clan. It should be a bloodline that strays from the outside world. Ji family patriarch sighed with emotion. The bloodline that strays abroad has such talent. God treats my Ji family well. He immediately ordered the family to search for those bloodlines that flowed outside. Maybe there are people with excellent talent who must be brought back to the family as soon as possible. It's a shame to be outside. Ji family. From the early days of the original universe, it was a superpower. An early primordial cosmic overlord. Until now it has been a superpower. Prosperous. It is because of the emergence of a superpowerful one by one. Starting from the first ancestor, the Fourth Order Emperor. In the later Ji Chaoyang, the background of the Ji family was raised to a new height again. It's a pity that it fell later, otherwise the current Ji family would be even stronger. Even now, there is Ji Shuang, a peak powerhouse of the Six Tribulations realm, in charge. In the entire downstream time and space, it is also the top 10 family. Moreover, the Ji family is also inextricably linked with the two masters Jian Wushuang and Hui Qing. You need people and people, and you need power and power. The background is also strong. Nature is timeless. Among the top 10 gods, there are very few family ties, and only Dongsheng and Wanyan have family ties. Others at most cultivate some forces. Jian Wushuang is helpless. The place where he was born is gone. Became a lonely old man. This time, he accepted a few direct disciples, but also to leave his own way. As for the bloodline, I have long thought about it. Maybe meet the right person later. Probably not. On the tester's side, there are only the last few thousand people left. Everyone on the viewing platform also has suitable candidates. In the end, there should be very few violent species, and almost no one is hiding their strength. Now is the best chance to hit the top 1,000. Master Zhenling, can you narrow down the scope of the trial? I'm almost falling asleep. Wuxia drooped his eyelids. Watched it for over 100 years. No matter how patient they are, they can't stand this torture. This is like an adult watching a child play a house. It feels fresh at first but then gets tired. I already have a candidate in my heart, so I naturally want to end it as soon as possible. Zhenling scratched his head when he heard the words. Narrowing down the scope was actually very simple, but unfortunately he was not prepared. Oh come! Jian Wushuang raised his hand and pointed out. A barrier fell, and it is constantly shrinking. Shrink from the edge of the world. Seeing this, the true spirit immediately sent a message to the tokens of the testers. The enchantment will continue to shrink until the last 1,000 people will stop. This is the last time. According to the shrinkage rate of the enchantment, at most 1 month. This made those testers who wanted to pick up the leaks to leak expressions of despair. Facing great temptation, still someone took the shortcut. There are many testers who are not very strong, but they found a place to hide from the beginning. Just relying on good hiding, Go entered the top 10,000. You say he is wretched, it is not suitable. Being able to hide from being discovered all the time is a bit of a skill, but in terms of real combat power, they are very weak. Not to mention Jian Wushuang and the others. Even the lords of the universe look down on these people. If you want to play tricks by stealing, it is impossible to be selected. Those trial people also understand this truth. But before entering the trial place, the family said that if they enter the top 1,000, even if they are not selected, they will be accepted as disciples by the Lord of the universe. So they all want to try their luck. But as the enchantment continued to shrink, all their luck was broken. Puff! A tester who had to show up was shattered by a sword as soon as he showed his head. Yuanshan could only admit defeat and save his life. It was also taken away by an emperor. But there are only dozens of tokens left. Which tester who came out with the sword didn't bother to pick it up and walked away. This kind of scene is being staged all over the world of trials. A month passed quickly. The enchantment has also been reduced to a range of 10,000 miles. In this range, Yangxian's thought power can be wrapped. There is nowhere to hide anymore. The number of people was also reduced by half. Now there are only over 1,000 people left. It only takes half a day to shrink to 1,000 people. This is also an opportunity for those testers who are ranked lower. If you can defeat a tester ranked in the top 1,000, you will be able to replace the opponent. Such an environment also made many testers red-eyed. There are even some testers who were originally in the top 1,000, but were besieged by 2 backward testers and eventually lost. Don't admit defeat even to death. Falling is impossible, and those emperors have already received the voice transmission of the true spirit. Some testers who are bound to fail will be taken away on their own initiative. No talent will be lost due to trials. Zhenling also spoke out. Even if he did not enter the top 1,000, he would still be able to enter the Tomb God Mountain and become the inheritor of the Qi Temple. The inheritor of Qi Temple can be said to be the dream place of practitioners in the entire downstream time and space. Because now the top lords of the universe are the inheritors of the Tomb Sacred Mountain. From the first generation to the current 3 generations of disciples, in each era, a large number of superpowers will emerge. And once you become an inheritor, your family, or the power you are in, will also rise with the tide. Heirs are also united. It can be said that as long as you become an inheritor, it proves that you have stepped into the upper level of the downstream time and space with 1 foot. As long as you become the master of the universe, you can entrust your universe to the sea of the universe. This is infinite glory. In the downstream space-time, in addition to the masters of the universe born among the inheritors, there are still some mist powerhouses who have become masters of the universe by themselves. Chapter 61:13. After all, resources are limited, and only elites are cultivated. Impossible to include everything. That's why we have to fight for the chance and fight for the ranking. The first 2,000 testers are guaranteed to become the inheritors of the Qi Temple. The first 10,000 testers will also enter the 4 great halls. Each has a bright future. This is what they are fighting for. However, the remaining testers are no longer satisfied with the inheritors. Instead, he wanted to become the direct disciple of the Lord of the 7 Tribulations realm universe. Practice the strongest way. In the trial world, within 1,000 miles, the sound of killing is everywhere. The number of people keeps decreasing, but there are also testers who started to riot at this time. For example, Shen Jian and Ji Tang. At this time, the power of the 2 broke out, and they can already enter the top 100. This made Jian Wushuang very happy. Prove that their speed of progress has not stopped because of the decrease in the number of people. According to this trend, it won't take long to surpass the people in front. Of course, which ranked first Wanshan is indeed too terrifying. Far beyond the realm of many testers. Any opponent he encountered would not be able to block his punch. Such a terrifying combat power that no one dared to approach him. Fortunately, Wanshan has collected 100 million tokens, and he is too lazy to bully those testers. With the elimination of the last person, the top 1,000 testers officially appeared. After a long bell rang, the surrounding enchantment also disappeared in an instant. 1,000 testers were also teleported to the center of the square. Next up is the ring battle. This is faster, and in the trial world, most of them have played against each other. The final ranking will not be much different. After a day of fighting in the ring, The final exclusion ranking was also similar to what was expected. The only bright spots are Jitang and Xinjian. The two broke through one after another. Now Xinjian ranks 19th and Jitang ranks 20th. Xinjian is fine. He is silent and nameless. Jitang's performance shocked the head of the Ji family. Even Ji Shuang personally came over to inquire. Brother Ji, congratulations this time. There are 3 in your Ji family in the top 20 middle school. It's amazing. Many people congratulated. The head of the Ji family was also smiling, and this time it really gave him a long face. But when he transmitted his voice to Ji Tang, the other party ignored him at all. This made the Ji family's head very embarrassed. Fortunately, it is sound transmission. If you open your mouth to speak, and you are left aside, you will lose the adults. What's the matter? The Ji family took a deep breath, a little confused, turned to look at the emperor of the Ji family's dynasty beside him, and said in surprise, "Her bloodline knows you best. Hurry up, give me a thought when you left it." If you enter the top 20, you will definitely become the direct disciple of the Lord of the Seven Tribulations realm universe. Future achievements are limitless and cannot be ignored. Don't return to JIS family in the end, but instead hate JIS family. It will not be worth the loss. Patriarch, you know me, so many juniors I remember when I stayed. The Ji family's patriarch frowned. Mistake. He immediately asked Ji Yi to talk to Ji Tang and try to win over. Once you become the direct disciple of those super strong people, it would be too deliberate to win over. It is only at this time that I can go up and climb some friendship. I won't have this chance in the future. Except these families recognize relatives. There are also some powerful masters of the universe who took the initiative to throw an olive branch. Thousands of people can't all be selected. And in addition to the 1,000 seed players, there are some who have been eliminated, but their strength is not weak. They also have good talents. These are all talents. And it is the superpower of the next era. As long as you survive, it is not difficult to become the master of the universe. Many people went to give tokens of their own accord. If not selected as a disciple, after entering the Tomb God Mountain, you can come under your own door. It's also a good way out. Some people who were not confident naturally accepted these tokens. But more people still want to be accepted as direct disciples by the super strong. On the viewing platform, Jinling was gearing up, glanced at the crowd, and said, "Let's start. I think you are also in a hurry. Start from the back. And each time 100 people come up. Start from the end." 100 trialists stepped onto the viewing platform one after another. In the square, they saw the Lord of the Universe under the viewing platform at most. When I entered the viewing platform, I witnessed the strongest group of existences in the downstream time and space. Even if they were Tianjiao and Tianjiao, they were still short of breath and nervous. Don't be afraid, little guys, this time it's you who choose the master. But I'll say the ugly thing first. You can choose first. If they don't agree, then you have to be selected. If you choose not to agree, you will also be selected when you are selected. If you don't get selected, don't have any resentment in your heart. I will personally accept you into the Tomb Sacred Mountain and become the 4th generation inheritor. 4th generation. It is also the beginning of the next time and space. They are the first batch, and the benefits naturally do not need to be said. Okay, let's get started. Jinling waved his hand and stopped talking. It's okay not to say it, but it made these testers even more nervous. First, let them choose not to be themselves in case they choose. And it will naturally be a little embarrassing to enter the door of other great powers when they are picked. Therefore, many testers are looking at Jian Wushuang and the others, and dare not speak easily. Wu Zhua is the most chicken thief, and he specifically winks at the disciples who want it, leaking a posture that I will accept it if you come. For a time, many testers seem to be apprenticing to Wu Zhua. Because of this, no one will be offended. Wu Zhua, you are really shameless. Wu Tian frowned. If he was still a Buddha, he could still pull his face down. But after incarnating as a demon, his face was thinner than before. But still imitating Wu Zhua's appearance, winking at those testers. Among the 100 testers at the end, there are actually only a dozen or so who are really admired. Jian Wushuang is the one who didn't like it. The Dao he left this time was actually reserved for 3 people. These 3 are still in the top 100. He is more stressed. Among the hundreds of testers, there are also more active ones. The ones who took the initiative were the geniuses from the big family and the sect. After entering the first 1,000, the ancestors of the sect or the family explained the details of the 18 super powerful to them. The first choice is Jian Wushuang and Hui Qing, the superpowers who have learned from the upstream time and space. Then Shang and Luo. The rest is up to personal preference. In the 7 tribulations realm, there is a huge difference between the combat power and the Dao. Naturally, I want to be the one with the strongest teacher. Therefore, in front of Jian Wushuang and Hui Qing, there were many testers. Jiangchen, you cultivated the way of thunder and mastered thunder's ultimate electric snake. You came to worship me as your teacher. You have found the wrong person. I will show you a way out. Jian Wushuang sent them away directly, but instead give their opinions one by one, and let them change someone. They were all dismissed soon. Chapter 61:14. There are still a few good seedlings who came to him for apprenticeship. Soon the selection stage of the testers passed. Then convert to them to pick. Only Wuxia went to pick 2 of them, and the others did not speak. Apparently it doesn't matter. 22 of the 100 finalists were selected. Mainly, Wuxia received 5 by himself. There were 3 who came to apprentice, and I chose 2 more. It can be said that the comers are not refused. It has a rather educated look. Okay, those who are not selected, you can go to the square and wait, and you will be taken to the tomb sacred mountain later. As for those who were selected, they naturally stood beside their master, and couldn't bear the excitement in their hearts. The first selection is over. The second batch came soon. This time Jian Wushuang is still indifferent, and he is also persuading those disciples who want to choose. Give it up to someone else. Wuxia can be said to be open to all who come, as long as he chooses the basics. Others are more rigorous. Disciples are also their own inheritors. Naturally be cautious. Come up in batches. He and Hui Qing were the only ones who didn't choose. Several of Hui Qing's eyes were among the best. They are all waiting for the last batch of testers who are in the top 100. It's the last batch. If you 2 don't choose, you will automatically admit defeat. Jinling looked at him and Hui Qing, and said indifferently, "Don't be too harsh, just accept it if it's pleasing to the eye. It may take time in the future. Not much more." Knowing what the other party wanted to say, Jian Wushuang just nodded silently. After waiting for the last batch to come on stage, he stretched his face. Just as Ji Tang and Shen Jian stepped onto the viewing platform, they saw Jian Wushuang. This was the first time they saw Jian Wushuang's deity. That kind of restrained sword intent makes the 2 yearn for it. In the stage of choosing a master, the 2 of them came directly to Jian Wushuang without any hesitation. "Shen Jian, I would like to worship the senior as a teacher." "Ji Tang, I would like to worship the senior as a teacher." This is the last batch. Many people are watching, especially the masters of the universe below. The head of the Ji family clenched his palms when he saw Ji Tang worshipping Jian Wushuang. Although Ji Yi was asked to contact the relationship, he couldn't ask the specific life experience, and he didn't give a good face. This is not a problem. As long as the blood of the Ji family flows, it will add prestige to the Ji family. Anyway, everyone knows that Ji Tang is Jis family, and that's enough. And now he is taking the initiative to apprentice Jian Wushuang, and he is using the sword again. This made the head of the Ji family very excited, looking forward to entering the gate of Jian Wushuang. Jis family has a relationship with Jian Wushuang Hui Qing. If he enters Jian Wushuang's door, it can be said to be a kiss. For a while, in front of Jian Wushuang, several testers appeared again. Even Wan Shan, who was ranked first, took the initiative to apprentice Jian Wushuang. Ji Tang, Shen Jian, you 2 stay. These 2 were originally cultivated by him, and naturally stayed. Even Ji Tang and Shen Jian thought it was normal. The head of the Ji family also stood up excitedly. In this trial, his Ji family received the most goods. Ji Yi, who had high hopes, failed to apprentice Jian Wushuang. But it doesn't matter anymore. It's enough for one person to enter the gate of Jian Wushuang. Why not me? Ji couldn't accept it. She ranked 9th, and came from JIS family just like Ji Tang. Wan Shan was also a little disappointed after hearing the result. However, he is not the kind of person who can't put it down. He quickly recovered his expression, and returned to his original position, waiting to be selected by other strong men. Jian Wushuang called Shen Jian and Ji Tang to his side, and said with a smile, "You will follow me to practice from now on. If you have anything you can't let go of, you can tell me." This was said to Ji Tang. Shen Jian came from his cave heaven world. There was nothing he couldn't let go of. That cave heaven world could be handed over to the other party. However, Ji Tang has a lot of things to let go. It's because of the Ji family. However, it is not easy for him to come forward directly, and Ji Tang will need to face it alone in the future. After Shen Jian heard his words, he shook his head blankly. Ji Tang hesitated for a moment, then slowly shook his head. Stubborn temper. Jian Wushuang just smiled indifferently and stopped talking. Except for the two he accepted, most of the others were open to all. Take it all. After all, they are the top 100 testers, so there is no reason to refuse. Even Huiqing accepted 4 in one go. Among them was the golden body of Arhat. Still haunted by this. There is also a tester who uses a sword, ranking in the top 3. In fact, only weak Wan Shan. Which cold girl who cultivates the moon shadow sword. But she went to Luo's side. Jian Wushuang has no choice. Jian Xiuxiayu mastered the ultimate way. And he has also cultivated to a very high level. If it is under his door, it is expected that the time and space will be recorded in Mahayana in the future. Pity. Jian Wushuang sighed lightly. Only 2 looked a little thin. He still has some doubts about his teaching ability. But the vision of seeing people is still there. One more must be chosen. But Jianxiu, either he chose Luo. Luo did not refuse and accepted all the orders. The few sword cultivators he rejected were indeed inappropriate. Wan Shan. He took a deep breath, and another thought appeared in his heart. His super ancient transformation is the ultimate secret method of divine power. Should also find an incoming one. Only this time he focused on kendo. Divine power is not a Tao. It is more like an aggregator. Wan Shan has such potential. Looks like him going to prepare a unique skill that will never change. He laughed lightly in his heart, thinking that he had just rejected Wan Shan, and now he will choose. That's a competitor. Now that the screen turned, it was their turn to choose someone. Jian Wushuang didn't care about his face. Although he had just rejected Wan Shan, he was the first to stand up and said, "Wan Shan, are you willing to come to my door?" Yep. This sentence made everyone stunned. I didn't want Wan Shan just now, but now I am actively recruiting. Wushuang, you're going too far. Isn't this tricking us? That's right, didn't you agree that Wan Shan belongs to me? Shang was also a little depressed and wanted to win Wan Shan, because the other party's cultivation steps were very suitable for him. Wu's was snorted coldly and scolded. When will it belong to you? I also said that they are all my apprentices. Then I will not hide it from you. My magical power secret method also needs to find a successor. If you think that my magical power can surpass my secret method, you can try it. Jian Wushuang sat back to his seat after speaking. Behind him, Ji Tang and Shen Jian looked at each other. And when they heard Jian Wushuang's magical power, they didn't quite understand. But other people know. Not only Wu Zua and the others know it, but even the lords of the universe below know a lot. At the beginning of the battle with the death. Chapter 61:15. Jian Wushuang's super eternity changes, but it amazes everyone. Unrivaled power. When the Wanjia patriarch heard the magical power secret method, he thought of the super ancient change, and hurriedly sent a voice transmission to Wan Shan. Don't hesitate. Going to the first God Lord's door is the best choice in your life. Wan Shan also took a deep breath, and the loss just now disappeared instantly. I do. He originally chose Jian Wushuang. Even if the owner doesn't say it, he will agree. Because he sees the trial, That is, he wants to apprentice Jian Wushuang. Worship the strongest person as a teacher. Become the strongest. Jian Wushuang was relieved when Wan Shan agreed and waved. You are my last disciple. Shen Jian was his first disciple in the Qi Temple. Then there is Ji Tang. Finally Wan Shan. Yes, master. Wan Shan was excited, with the joy of the rest of his life. And after saluting, he stood obediently behind Jian Wushuang. Ji Tang and Shen Jian also leaked smiles. After all, Jian Wushuang said that he was the last disciple. After that, the three of them are the closest people. For a long time to come, we will practice together. Naturally get closer. Wan Shan was also very polite to these two future brothers and sisters. Talk to each other. After accepting the last disciple, Jian Wushuang stopped looking at the others, waiting for this meeting to end. The Dharma body in the source is improving its own super-eternity. When he used the super-eternal transformation, his strength already had 700,000 divine powers. Although he was the emperor at that time, the myth he created in the emperor was rarely surpassed by later generations. It is difficult to surpass his record in Daojun, not to mention the emperor period. So to improve. Otherwise, Wan Shan would not be able to do it at all. Let's start from the eternal change. That was the unique skill that was obtained in the Three Kings Court. But it needs to be improved. Everlasting, everlasting, everlasting. Eternal change requires at least 200,000 divine powers to be able to use it. Eternal change is much simpler, and 50,000 divine powers can be used. When he was in Daojun, he had 50,000 divine powers, which was the limit of a cultivator. Wan Shan can also do it, which is not too difficult. The requirements of the eternal change are lower, and the 10,000 times divine power can do it. As long as you can master the changes through the ages, the Daojun period is basically invincible. But this still can't get into Jian Wushuang's magic eye. Daojun exerts eternal change. The emperor casts eternal change. Lord of the universe, then you have to use super eternal change. The secret skills and secret methods of divine power are the simplest, but also the most difficult. The trick is to fight. It is not difficult to enhance the divine power. Jian Wushuang can give Wan Shan treasures, but not in vain piles of divine power. To achieve 10,000 divine power to defeat an opponent with 20,000 divine power. Can the divine power be improved again? And so on, slowly accumulating divine power, will cultivate super strong. After Wan Shan's cultivation plan was finalized, the external trial conference also came to an end. The top 100 testers were all selected. None were elected. Among the first 1,000 testers, more than 400 people were selected. On average, there are more than a dozen per person. However, Jian Wushuang and Hui Qing are the least. One has 3 and one has 4. Wuxia had the most, and one person selected 100 disciples. This made the trialists who chose Wuxia began to doubt life. There is so much competition. Besides, Wuxia also had those 2 brushes, and his secret techniques at the peak were all learned from the Realm King. In the Emperor period, it is good to say that when it comes to the Master of the Universe, it is difficult to cultivate super strong people. But from Daojun to Dijun, everyone is the same, and they are very good at training. So don't be careless. The trial is over, then I will announce what happens after the trial. Zhenling cleared his throat and said, Little guys, you may not know that the trial and apprenticeship is just the beginning. The road ahead is still long and bumpy. For you, the first hurdle is here. An era later, at that time, most of you will become Daojun. At that time, a Dao meeting in Qishan Temple will be held, and a competition will be held. At that time, you will represent your respective masters. If you lose, there will be no punishment for you, but for your teacher. It's not going to be any better, respect. Cough cough. Wuxia felt that saying this would hurt his face, and it would put too much pressure on the disciples. So he said vaguely, Let's not talk about punishment, let's talk about honor, and you will be the face of Qishan Temple in the future. Is also the super genius of the downstream time and space. So naturally we must carry the honor of the Qi Temple. We must aim at the path of the strong, and don't slack off. The selected disciples were so excited that they all shouted, Yes! Not only what Wuxia said, but also the teachings of the elders. The selected disciples are the arrogances of the major families. Many ancestors of the family saw that their descendants became disciples of legendary figures, and they were also very pleased. Remember, at the end of this road, you are the strongest. Work hard and follow the teacher's way. Don't let the family down. A sound of encouragement came one after another. These voices come from the family. Wuxia's voice came from Qi Temple, and even bigger places. For these little guys, the Qi Shrine is already huge, but they also yearn for the bigger world. Since there's nothing else to do, I'll go first. Wu Tian waved his hand, took the accepted disciple, and left directly. Wuxia just wanted to say something, but seeing that everyone was in a hurry to leave, he simply didn't say anything, and left this world with his own disciples. See you in an era. Jian Wushuang glanced at the crowd, also tore apart the space, and left with the 3 disciples. Speaking of which, he didn't even remove it. Wuxia has its own power, Dao Palace, not to mention Shang and Luo. Wu Tian also has its own power. Dongxing and Wanyan have their own families and a lot of territory. Huiqing can also go back to the heavenly Buddha realm. Emotions. I am the only one who has no foothold. With the 3 disciples, after leaving the Qi Temple, he glanced at the primordial universe. Although the power of origin is the strongest here, there are also the most practitioners. Not suitable for practice. Forget it, let's go to our own universe. His cosmic carrier. And in the source starry sky, the power is 10,000 times richer than the outside world. It is much more powerful than those secret realms in Qi Temple. Thinking of this, the 3 people were directly sent to Tianqing Mountain, in the source universe with a single movement. There are very few practitioners who have entered his source or no. That's why Wis lived in his original universe for a period of time. Although some things have been removed, the general outline is still there. He arranged it at will. They came up with some cave houses and training grounds, as well as some treasures suitable for Daojun and Emperor to assist in the practice. These are all refined by him, which can be said to be unique. The 3 people who entered the source starry sky looked at the place in front of them that looked like a dream, and were extremely surprised. Chapter 61:16. Especially when I saw the huge starry sky, I was stunned for a while. When he reacted, he realized that a powerful force was around him, and could be absorbed at will. Wanshan, as the first arrogant of the Wanjia Yanxian, has a lot of knowledge and said excitedly, Master, is this your origin universe? Not bad. Jian Wushuang nodded slightly and said, In the next time, you will practice here for a while. And when you arrive at Dian Immortal, I will take you out once, and the plan will be discussed later. First teach the 3 of you a Faju, and when the Fujitsu is complete, come see me again. The way Jian Wushuang teaches his disciples is very simple. Progressive cycle. Never teach them too much at once. Everything takes time to hone. By the way, I found a sparring partner for you. He turned around and shouted at the arranged cave house, Babata! Swish! Babata in a dark red armor flew out of the cave, with a small body and a curved forehead, standing in front of him and said obediently, Master! It's called Babata. It's not life, but it can't be rude. In addition to accompany you, he will also point you to some things you don't understand. Remember? Wan Shan looked at Babata, who already had wisdom, and was a little shocked. He had only heard of some puppets in the Qi Temple, with 7 orifices and exquisite hearts, but they could not cultivate. Unexpectedly, Master has a puppet who can cultivate Tao. Heart is very shocking. Ji Tang and Shen Jian didn't understand this. In their eyes, Jian Wushuang was omnipotent. Remember? The 3 replied respectfully. Jian Wushuang nodded and said, Babata, let them get acquainted with them first, and then you can practice on your own. Yes. After the explanation, Jian Wushuang's figure flashed and disappeared in Tianqing Mountain, leaving behind Babata, with 3 disciples. Let's go. Babata leaked a smile. After the pyramid was shattered, he stayed alone in the sky, extremely boring. Now that he has company, he is in a good mood. Along the way, there was talk and laughter, and the three people were introduced to the special nature of Tianqing Mountain. Jian Wushuang took a deep look in the starry sky, then closed his eyes. Leave your own way, just for a back way. He also has a way to go. This era will still have some heart, but after an era, when the Taoist meeting ends, he will completely stock up the three. He will point out the way after Daojun, and leave the rest to them. No one will keep them safe from the wind and rain. Time shone through the temples. 10 years later, Wan Shan was the first person to complete the practice of the Fa Ju he taught. This is similar to what Jian Wushuang expected. After all, it's only 10 years. Even if Shen Jian and Ji Tang are talented, they can't surpass Wan Shan. Wan Shan. Jian Wushuang came in person and let Wan Shan fully demonstrate the magic. He is satisfied. It took 10 years to fully grasp it, and Wan Shan was the first person in the trial. Inheriting his divine power is really more appropriate. Master, although I fully grasp the law you taught, I don't quite understand it. Wan Shan explained his doubts one by one. Read novel. Jian Wushuang admired this very much, nodded and said, "If you understand, it will be incredible." The law he taught Wan Shan was the route of his own divine power. If you don't explain it, the other party can't understand it for a lifetime, and can only master a useless law. His divine power roadmap, even the Lord of the Eight Tribulations realm universe, cannot be seen through. Not to mention an immortal little guy. This is my roadmap for divine power. Maybe you still don't understand divine power, because your physical body is not complete, and your divine body is also lacking, so you can't master divine power. Divine power? Wan Shan's eyes flashed. He heard it mentioned by the elders of the family. Only after the divine body has been multiplied can one master divine power. But his current divine body is only 1,000 times larger. Yanxian has 1,000 times the divine body, which is already very good. When Jian Wushuang was in Yanxian, he didn't have 1,000 times the divine body. Yes, it's divine power. Jian Wushuang raised his palm, exerted a little force, and a golden arc appeared, and then said, "Keep this arc away. It is what you will use in the next stage, and now I will refine your body for you." Whoa! A majestic mountain appeared in the starry sky. He pointed a finger, and the mountain ignited flames. He has already moved the body that was refined by Moyan Mountain. The physical body is powerful, and it is only useful to the emperor. At the robbery realm, the flesh is immortal, so it doesn't have to be good, but it can't be bad either. 9 training is necessary. Even if it takes 10 refinements, it is too difficult for the current Wan Shan. At the beginning, he was only after the 9th rank, and only 10 times, and he almost fell. Go, after refining the flesh, go to absorb that trace of golden arc. I will give you 1,000 years, and come see me after you are done. Without any hesitation, Wan Shan nodded and said, "Yes." After speaking, he directly entered the burning Vulcan mountain. The Tao cannot be preached lightly. Wan Shan, as a child of the Wan family, could not stop. I also know the master's intentions. First lay the foundation, then go to practice to accept the inheritance. Take it step by step. Don't be in a hurry. It fits Wan Shan's character very well. It is also because of this that Shang went to compete for Wan Shan. This is a pure cultivator, which is too rare. Jian Wushuang also likes it more and more. After arranging follow-up plans for Wan Shan, he closed his eyes again to practice. 100 years later, Shen Jian also mastered the law. However, the law he masters is different from Wan Shan. Wan Shan is taking the route of divine power. Shen Jian is the ultimate swordsman. The foundation of Kendo is the mastery of the way. In the following time, he personally instructed Wan Shan's Kendo. It also did not directly teach the other party any magical skills. Ji Tang was the last one to master the law. Wan Shan's body has been refined until Ji Tang has successfully mastered the law. It's not that the opponent's comprehension is poor. It's a matter of talent. Among the 3 disciples, Wan Shan is the first in divine power. Shen Jian's Kendo is the first. Ji Tang's outstanding point is not obvious. But this kind of cultivator cannot be underestimated. Maybe it's a late bloomer. It's not good to be too obvious. In the days that followed, he pointed out the realm of Kendo between Jitang and Xinjian. As for Wanshan, it is absorbing that golden arc. It seems to be stalking mountains. In fact, the best way to deal with it. Totally on your own. Once the golden arc is absorbed, the divine body can grow to 1,000 times. The next time is to break through his own realm and reach the 9-ranked Dian Immortal at the fastest speed. At that time, Jian Wushuang will set up some tests for Wanshan. Rewards are divine treasures. After the divine power reaches 10,000 times, he has mastered the divine power. Almost ready to accept his legacy. However, the inheritance of acceptance also starts from the most elementary level. Chapter 61:17. From the beginning of the ages. Which step Xinjian and Jitang want to reach is even more difficult. The realm of Kendo is by no means overnight. That's all. Hundreds of thousands of years passed in a flash. Wanshan was the first disciple to accept his inheritance. After being transformed through the ages, his realm has been elevated to the level of Daojun. Divine power practitioners do not look at realm, but look at divine power. At the beginning, Jian Wushuang was an emperor himself, and he was comparable to the master of the universe by virtue of his divine power. That's how it came. However, Wanshan still envied Jitang and Xinjian, who had always been directed by Jian Wushuang himself. And it's almost self-indulgence. Although the growth rate is very fast, I still want to practice with the master. Xinjian and Jitang are envious of Wanshan, so they can accept the inheritance early. They are all working hard. An epic time soon. For the current Jian Wushuang, it is just a cleanup, a blink of an eye, or an epiphany. In a blink of an eye, the 3 disciples all received the inheritance. The time of an epoch has received the greatest improvement. From Yinxian to Daojun, accumulated a lot of money. There is only 1 month left until the meeting. Jian Wushuang also took them back to the original universe. Within the small division, in a valley built by the Lord of Lu Hua, Jian Wushuang and Lu Hua sat on the ground drinking tea. The 3 disciples were besieging a wild beast with extreme combat power. Not bad, good tea. Yes, they did a great job. Jian Wushuang was talking about tea, while Lu Hua was talking about some of Jian Wushuang's disciples. The combat power of the 3 people amazed Lu Hua. Haha, if I hadn't experienced your era, I would have been frightened by their combat power. Lu Hua said with a smile. But you are also careless. I went to Qishan Temple a few days ago to see those disciples of Wuxia, and they are not bad either. Jian Wushuang smiled indifferently. It doesn't matter. I have seen what I want to see. For their future, I can only hope. This is the only thing I can do. He was already very happy to see the majestic appearance of the Qi Temple. As for the outcome, it has become irrelevant. Now Jitang has mastered the stars, rivers and lakes. It is not far from the Star Sea. After this session is over, everyone can prepare to join the Tao. By the time of the Emperor, he has completely penetrated the sword intent of Xinghe Lake and Sea, and is basically invincible. Xinjian is the same. It's just that after reaching the Lord of the Universe, the paths of the 2 are different. He will leave the universe map, space-time map, and starry sky map for the 2 of them. Even if you can't master it all, then leave it to your disciples. Future generations will bloom and bear fruit, and there will always be one who completely masters it. As for Wanshan, now the divine power is 50,000 times, and the combat power is terrifying. In terms of combat, it is even more capable of overwhelming the top alone. Neither Jitang nor Xinjian were Wanshan's opponents. Moreover, Wanshan has also initially mastered the changes of the ages. Once cast, divine power can also skyrocket. This time, Jian Wushuang was not going to lose at all. If all this is lost, he will be happy instead. Happy to be talented. Seeing him like this, Lu Hua also thought of something, and asked, Wushuang, to be honest, you are not far from the 8 tribulations realm now. The realm is enough but not ready. He is not ready for the things after the 8 tribulations realm, and other aspects are almost the same. Alas! Lu Hua couldn't help sighing after hearing this. I really envy you. The original Emperor Lu Hua was a little weaker than Wuxia. Now let alone compare with Jian Wushuang. And compare with Wuxia is shameful. It's just the Lord of the Universe in the Four Tribulations realm. If it weren't for the treasure given to him by Jian Wushuang, he would not have the confidence to reach the fifth robbery. Haha, don't say it, the more you talk, the more jealous you become. Jian Wushuang laughed. In fact, he envied the other party's leisurely days. He has become the Eight Tribulations realm, and will soon leave the northern time and space to go to the completely unfamiliar realm King continent. Although now there are expectations of the unknown, but still a little reluctant to go home. Every time I change a place, I have this feeling. Start with passion and new ideas, then got bored. Now only responsibility remains. After some reminiscence, the three disciples also beheaded the wild beast. The Lord of Lu Hua applauded loudly. The Dao meeting is coming soon. As my uncle, I won't tell you a lie. These three eternal treasures are gifts for you. Emperor Lu Hua took out 3 battle armors of the same standard and handed them to the three. Eternal treasure. This is a big deal for Daojun. Jian Wushuang did not give them such a good treasure. Just give the innate best now. Emperor Lu Hua is the eternal treasure of the highest quality as soon as he makes a move. It really made their eyes warm. Brother Lu Hua, their strength is still too weak. Such a precious treasure is too wasteful. Jian Wushuang smiled bitterly. Daojun used the eternal treasure, which exceeded himself too much, and could not exert his original power at all. Small book booth, although he was in Daojun at the beginning, he also obtained a divine weapon. But the pieces on the Guantian chessboard can help him practice. Eternal treasure cannot help. Lord Lu Hua quickly waved his hand and said, "It's considered a battle uniform." "Thank you, Master." It was the first time that Ji Tang and Shen Jian got the eternal treasure. It is Wanshan from a big family. The eternal treasure has long been there. After he became a Taoist, Jian Wushuang took him back to his family. It was because of a test that he happened to be selected in Wuxia. After the test, the family directly gave a lot of treasures. However, they were all taken away by the master. He knew that this was because the master was afraid of affecting his cultivation. You can't eat a fat man in one breath. If it is simply to improve the realm and divine power, Jian Wushuang can pile a pig to the emperor. Just choose the easiest way, and a pig can do it. There is no shortage of divine treasures, and divine power can be accumulated. These are very simple for Jian Wushuang. The problem is that Taoism pursues the ultimate, and it must be done step by step. Don't be rash. It's time to go. Jian Wushuang got up and said, "Brother Lu Hua, let's go together. Just go to the Qi temple for a gathering. After the seminar is over, I will retreat. I don't know when the day will be." It is good. Daohui is all super-existent disciples, and naturally it will attract many strong people to watch. And those masters of the universe. After all, many are from big families. For example, Wanshan and Ji Tang are also from a family. The group of 5 entered the Qi temple. Although his 3 disciples had come to the Qi temple, they had not turned around. There was still a month before the holy meeting, so the 3 of them were given time to relax, and they were sent to the heaven for free activities. Jian Wushuang and Lu Hua went to the ancient mountain in the universe sea. First, I went to visit some tree men, and then went to the top of the mountain alone. The 10 masters of the gods, and the 8 masters of the 7 tribulations realm universe have all arrived. Chapter 61:18. Apparently the attention to the congregation is extremely high. That's a matter of self-interest. Wu Shuang, it'll be waiting for you. Everyone greeted. Jian Wushuang also took his place. Chat with people. Judging from the faces of everyone, it was obvious that they all had confidence. A month has passed in the retelling of the past. Taoism also followed. The venue is on Yuanyang Island in the heavenly realm. In order to avoid suspicion, Luo as the host was personally hosted by Jinling. When seeing the true spirit again, Jian Wushuang felt divine power from the other party. In fact, from the reminiscence with Wu Zhuo and others, He learned that the real spirit made great achievements because of the death of life, and was bestowed with a divine body by the king of the realm. Now it is almost the same as a cultivator. Divine power is also rising, and now he is the master of the 7 tribulations realm universe. If the sea of origin of Qi Temple can be integrated into the divine body, it will at least have the combat power of the 8 tribulations realm. No wonder Zhenling is always happy. The Taoist meeting officially began with the announcement of the true spirit. Divided into playing competition, ring competition. The most important thing is the thunder race. Shortlisting is a screening. If the play-ins fail, it would only be too weak. But this time the entry criteria are extremely exaggerated. God Desolate Tower. Divided into 9 layers. The Daojun who participated in the Taoist meeting climbed the tower in 1 day, and the fastest 100 people can enter the ring competition. As soon as this rule came out, Jian Wushuang and others felt that it was a bit exaggerated. 9-story barren tower. On the first floor there is a desolate beast of a 4th-order emperor. There are 10 heads on the 2nd floor. To the 5th floor is 10,000. Starting from the 6th floor, it is the wild beast of the 5th-order emperor level. There are 10 heads on the 7th floor. 8th floor 100 heads. The 9th floor is the most terrifying, and it goes directly to a desolate beast at the 6th-order emperor level. Not all Daojins can be compared to the top. Don't wait for them to think. The play-ins have begun. Jian Wushuang has confidence in his 3 disciples and knows their details. This level is not difficult, but it's harder for others. The tower opens. All the disciples entered their respective Shenhuang towers. Wanshan took the lead, and the first floor flashed by. The same goes for the 2nd layer. Go straight to the 5th floor in 1 breath. But on the 5th floor, it only took 1 breath. Then came to the 6th floor. There was hardly any stop, and we reached the 9th floor. That is, on the 9th floor, Wanshan spent a stick of incense. The rest are added together, and there is not a single stick of incense. I thought I would be the first to come out. But when Wanshan was teleported out, 3 figures were already seen. Luo's first disciple Xiaoyu, Huiking's proud apprentice Golden Arhat. There is also a disciple of Wuxia, the masked Taoist. These 3 people, except Xiaoyu, he didn't care about other people. He didn't expect the other party to be faster than himself. However, he did not use all his strength, not even the eternal change. Jitang Xinjian, hurry up. He knows the strength of the 2. And it is absolutely no problem to pass. But he is afraid that he will not waste time with all his strength. A quarter of an hour has passed, and dozens of people have completed it. At this time, Jitang and Xinjian walked out leisurely. Seeing so many people, their faces were filled with surprise. Obviously did not expect that there will be so many people. It will be faster than them. What faster than you? Jitang was even more shocked to hear that Wanshan was only 4th. Together with Jian Wushuang and others who were watching the battle, they all felt incredible. It seems that this time the ring battle will be very exciting. Because there is a Daojun, he has the ultimate combat power. This will definitely be an extremely rare match. 18 disciples taught by super existences, and they are all direct disciples, which is indeed unprecedented. The 9-story barren tower quickly screened out the top 100. See all the direct disciples of the Taoist Association. In fact, they have the ability to pass. Just the time spent is different. In particular, some unlucky ones hide some strength, and the speed is only a little slower. When he walked out of the barren tower, his breath changed. The same goes for Wuxia, who is sitting on the viewing platform. He has the most disciples, and he often tells his disciples to be a low-key person and a high-profile person. This time, it seems to be a failure of human beings. In fact, the top 100, even if they don't hide their strength, are also the strongest 100 people. So the ring match will start as usual, subject to lottery. The first round 50 fights. The second round 25 fights. In the 3rd round, there are vacancies and only 12 fights. In the 4th round, there are still vacancies. It depends on who is lucky. Enter the top 10 with an empty sign. This is also deliberately arranged by the true spirit. Luck also represents strength. However, The direct disciples who were able to enter the top 100 did not bother to take up the empty lottery. The first round of draws is over. The 3 disciples of Jian Wushuang were not weak in the draw. And they are all disciples of Wuxia. There is no way, even after being eliminated so many disciples, Wuxia still has more than 30 disciples to enter the previous one. Each has the ultimate combat power. It's just that there are strengths and weaknesses in the ultimate combat power. 50 battles starting at the same time. This is the top match. The battle time is not a one-shot solution, and even some battles are directly fought for several hours, and the winner is finally decided. The loser is just a chess move. Even Ji Tang and Shen Jian had a hard time winning. However, neither of them used the unique skills taught by Jian Wushuang. Only Wan Shan, from the very beginning, performed the Eternal Change, directly crushing the opponent. Eternal Change. Seeing the familiar name, Hui Qing turned around and said, "This should be the improved Eternal Change." No error novel network Jian Wushuang did not hide it, and said indifferently, "Almost, it is more suitable for Daijin's magical skills. With this unique skill, it shouldn't be a big problem for Wan Shan to enter the top 10 this time. People are not stingy. The disciples cultivated by Jian Wushuang can enter the top 10. That's normal too. No way the master is a pervert. The record set by Daojun has never been broken even by now. There are very few people close. Only Wan Shan, Xia Yu and others could approach the brilliance that Jian Wushuang left behind. Let's wait and see." Jian Wushuang didn't think Wan Shan's performance was very ambiguous. Compared with the trial, Wan Shan's suppression power has dropped a lot. During the trial, it was completely the first to be crushed. Don't go to his door. If you can't win the first place, it will be a shame. And it's a shame for Jian Wushuang. The first round of the ring battle was over soon. The second round also began. Did not stop too much. The origin and divine power consumed by the Taoist can be quickly recovered. Continuous fighting is also to maintain the feel. The draw in the second round was very unfavorable to Jian Wushuang. Among his 3 disciples, 2 were seated. The Ji family's Ji Yi was drawn to Ji Tang. Wanyan Lai of the Wanyan family drew Shen Jian. Only Wan Shan's opponent is unknown, but his strength should not be underestimated. Chapter 61-19. If you are not careful in the second round, it is very likely that 2 will be eliminated directly. Ji Yi was Luo's disciple, and also used a sword. Moreover, her kendo has already completed the 5th floor, and she has reached the edge of the way. If it is not for the sake of meeting the Tao meeting, she can completely join the way. Ji Tang, you have the blood of the Ji family on you. Even if you don't admit it, you can't change it. The people of Jis family have also gone to Ji Tang these years. Jian Wushuang did not intervene, but Ji Tang did not shake his heart at all. If it wasn't for the master taking her away from Jis house, she would not have lived long, and she would not have achieved today's achievements. Everything she's doing now has nothing to do with the Ji family. If there is a connection, it is hatred. Her mother died at Jis house. This account will be calculated sooner or later. The Ji family didn't know about this relationship, and thought that Ji Tang would look down on the Ji family after clinging to Jian Wushuang. So keep going. You want to understand the grievances between me and the Ji family. In an era, Ji Tang has grown a lot. Not a lunatic buried in hatred. She can tell who is the enemy, who is innocent. Ji Yi and her are of the same clan, but they have no friendship and no grudges. There is no need to argue about the Ji family with a young clan master who has been admired by all the stars since childhood. What she has to do is to defeat her opponent and win honor for her division. This is enough. Clang! The cold light flashed, and there was domineering in the fierce sword light. With the first sword, Xinghu sword intent was used. A huge lake spread out from the sword shadow, wrapping Ji Yi roundly. I don't understand the grievances between you and the Ji family. Can I still understand kendo? Ji Yi used his sword to defeat the enemy, and Luo Shu's sword intent also reached a very high level. Just a few swords broke the Xinghu sword intent. It wasn't enough for her. In the ring, The two Jijia Tianjiao faced off. It also attracted the size of the Lord of the Universe, who watched the battle. I am very envious that there are 3 direct disciples in the Ji family. The future is limitless. Not in the pool. This battle for the Ji family is actually a loss, because Ji Yeyu and Ji Tang's strength are enough to enter the top 20. Now there is a winner and loser. In addition to Ji Tang, Shen Jian's side has also fallen into anxiety. Wan Shan has already ended the competition. Although the direct disciple who is not very two-eyed is also very good in combat power, and has the combat power of the extreme threshold, it is still a lot worse than Wan Shan. Wan Shan has displayed the eternal transformation, and has already achieved the ultimate combat power. It easily crushed the opponent, showing the suppression power in the trial. 25 battles, the coefficient has ended. Only Shen Jian and Ji Tang remained in the ring to support. Both of them are not doing well right now. Ji Tang was suppressed by Ji Yi, and Shen Jian was no better. But at the moment of victory, a vast ocean descends from the sky. Xinghai sword intent. The two performed together. With just one sword, the victory and defeat were moved back. Shen Jian win. Ji Tang win. Many people did not react, and they were about to lose, but they turned against the wind. Ji Yi couldn't accept it. She couldn't accept that she lost to a girl from the Ji family, who lived abroad. Obviously he was going to win, but he was defeated by a sword. I actually lost. Ji Yi took a half step back, standing under the ring for a long time, unable to calm down. Ji Tang put the sword into the sheath, walked slowly to the edge of the ring, and said firmly, "You don't understand grievances, and you don't understand kendo." After leaving this sentence, she left and walked into the winner group. It's normal to not understand grievances, just like Ji Yi didn't understand why Ji Tang didn't return to the family. No error novel network, somewhat funny indeed. If you don't understand kendo, then there are a lot of them. The Xinghai sword intent just now has reached the peak of its peak combat power. That sword is by no means comparable to Xinghu. No amount of lakes can condense into a sea. No matter how small the sea is, it is also the sea. Star River Lake Sea. Once they are fully integrated, they are invincible emperors. It is no longer a Taoist, it can be compared. Seeing that his 2 disciples made breakthroughs one after another, they won the competition. Jian Wushuang was very pleased. Didn't say anything, just nodded. This is enough to make the disciple feel the true meaning. Wanshan's performance is also good, but the divine power route is not that complicated, and there is no possibility of such a comeback. Everything is a gradual performance. The 3rd round of lottery starts now. Finally, to the 3rd round of the competition. This time the top 10 will be decided. Empty visas can be said to directly enter the top 10. Among the 12 winners, 2 losers will be determined in extra matches. There are only 25 left. On the viewing platform, someone has already closed their eyes. Close your eyes forever. His disciples didn't even get in the top 25. And Wan Yan, so did he. There was only one disciple who entered the top 100, and he was also drawn to Wan Shan in the 2nd round. Also unlucky. Some are disappointed, some are happy. The only remaining disciple of the backbone Luo, Duo Baodaoren. He directly drew an empty lottery and entered the top 10 while lying down, becoming the first tester to enter the top 10 in this Taoist meeting. Luck! The backbone Luo smiled very proudly. Lord Jinling is right. Luck is also a part of strength. My disciple's strength is not ranked in the top 10 in the same sect. I just survived the first 2 rounds, and even got an empty lottery. This is an internal competition. If it was an outside fight, he would have perished a long time ago. So don't be complacent. Several lords of the 7 Tribulations realm universe, who had no hope, looked embarrassed at this time. Backbone Luo, but deliberately showing off at this time, was naturally besieged by everyone. Jealous, you are jealous of me. Jinling coughed dryly, then paused and said, "Don't talk nonsense, the 3rd round will start first, and the top 10 will be decided immediately." Among the current 24 Taoists, Jian Wushuang alone occupies 3. Wu Zhua also accounted for 3. Huiqing occupies 1. which is the golden body of Arhat. There is only one merchant left. So does Lo. The rest were either wiped out, or one was left. This battle is a winner. They are all personally directing their disciples and telling them about their opponent's shortcomings. Once they lose, they will have a hard time in the future. Now the downstream space-time, the resources that can be developed have been developed. If you want to make up for the deficit of Qi Temple, you need tens of millions of middle-level time in space, or upper-level time in space, and work hard with the same-level powerhouse. Many people also understand Jian Wushuang's intentions. Those who are suitable for teaching disciples can stay and teach them. If it doesn't suit you, go out. To get out of your comfort zone. Now the Qishan Temple is constantly expanding, and water needs to be released. Get a group of strong people, and go to the middle or upstream time and space. Play the prestige of Qi Temple in advance. In order to prevent the barrier from disappearing later, the overall strength of the Qi Temple is still not enough. At that time, Jian Wushuang will have to come forward. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.